Wherever you're watching me from, I am Serwaa Amihere, and I am always excited to come your way every morning here on GHOne TV. I hope that you had a good night rest. I hope that the week has been good so far. Today's the fourth day of the week. Well, I am all energized and excited to be here this morning. Good morning to you. Wake up. If you're still in bed, wake up. I'm sure that you have work. You should be getting ready, or you should be on your way now. And if you have to leave the house to go to work and you're thinking or wondering how you're going to watch the show, don't worry, because we're streaming live on Facebook, we're streaming on X, we're streaming on YouTube as well. So you can log on to your mobile phones and start watching the show or continue watching the show. But good morning to you and yours. And I miss Joshua Kojo Mensah, but next week he will definitely be here with us. If today's your birthday, I know that I'm going to do birthday wishes, but a happy birthday to you. If you know anyone who's celebrating their birthday as well, a big happy birthday to them as well. With all the love from myself and the entire team. Let's begin the show. Today, very interesting stuff. In Kede, a chief there abdicated the stool. And he says that he's been a chief for 21 years. He is, quote and unquote, he's tired. All those who have been scheming and plotting can now take over the stool and do what they want to do with the stool. But the big question here is, can a chief just get up and abdicate the stool? Well, we'll get into that conversation on Inside Out this morning, because it will interest you to know that there are decided cases that show that a chief cannot on his own get up and abdicate the stool. The abdication will be completed if the elders of the stool accept that he is no longer a chief of the stool. That is, they accept his abdication. So we'll get into that. My colleague Ibrahim Al-Hassan will be joining me very shortly. We'll also talk about the popularly called anti-gay bill, which we're told was supposed to be laid again, or was found in Parliament on their records, and then miraculously it vanished. Well, the majority leader has made the argument that the bill was already passed by Parliament in the last Parliament, and all that was left to do was for the then President Akufo-Addo, to assent to the bill and make it into law. That did not happen, not because the president willfully decided not to assent to the bill, because there were about 2 persons who sent that bill to court to get some interpretation. And so the majority leader's case is that the bill need not be laid again in Parliament, because the bill has already been passed. Parliament has got nothing to do with it. In fact, the standing orders do not apply because the bill has already been passed by Parliament. The minority leader says, well, they forced it on them in the Nanado era, and so they must accept it. What is really the right thing to do legally? Does the bill have to be laid again in Parliament? Well, I don't think so, but we'll get into that conversation as well, and a few other matters. Mutala will join me. We'll bring you what happened in court yesterday. Yesterday, I was in court. I saw Mutala in the criminal courts where Gift Serwaa Mensah was arraigned, and a few other matters that happened in court. Mutala will bring that to us. And Jones will be joining us with the latest in sport as well. But you know that you certainly will not miss our word of the day, our quote of the day, and our video of the day. So you're officially welcome to the show. I am Serwaa Amihere. I was going to add the Esquire, but I think that you people are tired of hearing it already. But you can't be tired because it's part of my name now, right? You're welcome to the show. Let's begin with our quote of the day. Right, so today's quote of the day is by Ruth Gordo, and she says, courage is like a muscle. We strengthen it by use. Courage is like a muscle. We strengthen it by use. This is the word of the Lord. This is our motivation for the day and our quote for the day. Make sure that at all times and in all things you are courageous. Strive to be courageous. Strive to be resilient, right? And that's my word for you this morning. Let's bring you our word of the day. Kind Ketsi Lorraine.
Today's word is S-N-A-Z-Z-Y. Again, S-N-A-Z-Z-Y. Snazzy. It's an adjective. Snazzy means modern and stylish in a way that attracts attention. Let's exemplify it. Wow, Serwaa, that's a very snazzy dress you are wearing. Snazzy.
Lorraine, I love that word. And I think that the example is perfect because he says, wow, Serwaa, that's a very snazzy dress you're wearing. I'm always wearing snazzy dresses, am I not? So thank you, Lorraine. Snazzy, that's the word, snazzy. It means a modern and stylish in a way that attracts attention. Well, the thing is, I don't seek to attract attention. I am the attention, right? So I don't do so much. In fact, I don't do anything at all. Please don't mind me. We always encourage you to learn a word or two every week because every week, Lorraine gives us 4 new words to help us enrich our vocabulary. Beautiful word, snazzy. Yeah, that's my new favorite word, snazzy. Let's now bring you our video of the day. Today is Thursday, so we're going to bring you some throwback. Stoneboy. I love Stoneboy. In fact, Ghanaian musicians are really good. You know, Mutala, people think that I belong to a certain camp, but I love all of them because they're all my friends, but they all make amazing songs. I'm SM. As for SM, I'm Papa SM. I'm the newest SAC native recruit because I loved Sarkodie, but I was not a SAC native until I went for Rapaholic. I went to Kumasi.
And then you saw the vibes.
Oh, Lord.
The energy, the zeal.
As for Stoneboy, I've always loved Stoneboy, you know. So I love Samini. I love all the Ghanaian singers, you know.
I think...
I'm very careful as to what I want to say because these days, you know. Anyway, so it's time for Court today, and Mutala is here with me. Mutala, what have you got?
Good morning, Serwaa.
Good morning.
So, just before I entered, I heard you make the point that Serwaa Amihere Esquire, you are tired of. Did you say you are tired of?
No, how can I be tired? I said people are probably... I hosted an event on Tuesday, I think. On Tuesday, and... when I was signing out, I said, I'm Serwaa Amihere. I'm a lawyer, I'm a broadcaster. And then everybody in the room was just laughing. So I'm like, why are you people laughing? Are you already tired of my new title?
So I just want our viewers to understand the meaning of Esquire this morning.
Okay.
And the
you want to explain it to them?
reason you need that attach your name at all times. And I did a quick search on it, and let's listen to what the meaning of Esquire mean. And they said, in law, Esquire is a title of respect for a licensed attorney who has completed law school.
5 years.
Passed the bar exams. It signifies that that individual is qualified to practice law and can use it after their names as a honorific. So, Serwaa Amihere Esquire. It shows that you've gone through the mail and you have been certified.
Mutala, it's okay, let's go.
No, not you alone. The meaning of Esquire. That is what we want our viewers and our listeners to get. That it is because of what you go through, and at the end of the day you achieve. So that's just a bit of it. So Serwaa Amihere Esquire, that one, you have to be ready. We will hear it so many times. Court today, like you mentioned, Serwaa, yesterday I was in the court with you. The National Service Ghost Names Scandal. Gifty Owari Mensah was present in court yesterday, and is he put a multicolored summer shirt with a black scarf, black trousers to match. Now, she entered the court. I think the case was called. The charges or the count, 5 of them were read to her, and guess her response. Not guilty to all of them, including a count of stealing, 2 counts of willfully causing financial loss to the state, and of course, money laundering. She pleaded not guilty. And it's on record that the state did not oppose to the grant of bail. Her lawyers, Nana Benye Akun, who represented Gary Nimakumafo, made a point that their client is unwell, and indeed, she came to court. You could see, if you observe her really well, you realize that from the left wrist, there was some bandage there, and that reaffirmed their earlier excuse duty that they brought to the court. But at some point in time, the lawyers made the point that the court should ensure that investigators assist her or escort her to the hospital because she's unwell. And the court made the point that as we speak, there's no medical report from any hospital to the court suggesting that the accused person is unwell. All this one is in relation to when the lawyers were making bail application, the fact that she's a mother, the fact that She's not a flight risk. She has place of abode, persons of substance to stand as sureties for her, and all of that. But the effect is that prosecution did not oppose. So Justice Audrey Koku-Vitae had the discretion to make. And guess what? When the DPP said they did not oppose to the grant of bail, one of the things that she added was that if the court was minded to grant bail, the court should look at the sum involved in this whole case. That is about over 38 million Ghana cedis. Her passport should be surrendered to the court so that when she wants to travel, the court can only give her that express permission. Other than that, then she will have to remain. Justice Audrey Koku-Vitae granted her bail in the sum of 10 million Ghana cedis with 3 sureties. And so the 3 sureties, the court said 2 of them should be able to be justified with landed property within the jurisdiction. Apart from that, the surety should produce copies of their passport and Ghana card to the registry of the court. The accused person should also do same. All traveling passports should make it available to the court and notify the court if she intends to travel. The court also made the point that she's put on a stop list. She's put on stop list, meaning across all the borders or traveling exit points, so that it means she cannot travel at this particular point in time. So she's also supposed to report to case investigators first Tuesday and second Tuesday in every month, and the report on her be made available to the court by the investigator. So that is how it ended for Gifty Owaremensa, who was in court yesterday, pleaded not guilty, and then she's been granted bail in relation to that. Later part of the
meets the bail condition.
As at the time that I was leaving the court yesterday, she has not been able to meet the condition because they will have to go and inspect that the sureties and the documentation and all of that. As at the time I was leaving the court yesterday after 4, that had not been done. We'll follow up this morning to find out whether indeed that has happened. But what is clear is that when I was leaving, as at 4 p.m., that indication had not happened that she's met the bail conditions.
Right. What more do we know? And we know that in relation to, because this National Service Authority thing is part of the whole oral agenda. We'll get into the conversation about oral because yesterday the Attorney General Dominic Ayine addressed the press and mentioned a few other cases, including the former CEO of the Buffer Stock. We'll get into that when my guests join me.
And even
very staggering revelations.
Indicated that even the National Service ghost names, there are some others who are also being lined up for court. So very interesting revelation from the Attorney General.
And he did say that the amount of money that they thought had been allegedly stolen initially is more than what they put out initially, right? So we'll get into that. What more do you have?
SkyTrain, Professor Christopher Amihere Kumfi, Solomon Asamoah, the former CEO of GIF, yesterday they were in court. And particularly, or specifically, Solomon Asamoah and his lawyers moved an application for a stay of proceedings. They say that the court had made a ruling earlier refusing their request for the state to produce some more documentation to them by way of disclosure. So they are going to the Court of Appeal. They want the High Court to stay proceedings for them to go and seek that particular intervention. Whatever outcome they get, they will come back to the court and inform the court. The lawyer, Victoria Bath, moved that application. Mrs. Sefako Bache, a chief state attorney from the Office of the Attorney General, opposed to that and make the point that, look, this is the only accused person who is making this request. The other accused person is there. So the court should be able to balance the whole, what is happening so that it doesn't affect the trial and all of that. And of course, disclosure is a process. At some point in time when it is needed, the court can always make that particular express order for it to be produced. And so, after hearing argument, in fact, that was done as early as 8:15. The court deferred ruling to after 10:30, and the court's decision, Justice Audrey Koku-Vitae's decision, was that the applicant has not been able to demonstrate any exceptional circumstances for which the court ought to exercise discretion by way of granting the request. So consequently, that request for production or to stay proceedings did not hold, and same was dismissed. Then we had a case about the U.S. deportees. Democracy Hub had filed an action seeking to restrain the government, making the point that there was some MOUs that have been signed between Ghana and then the American government, which seeks to have some of these people deported into Ghana and all of that. They think that that particular MOU is unconstitutional. So they are at the Supreme Court to have that challenged. Yesterday, the Supreme Court, presided over by Justice Gabriel Palmer, sat. But after the case was called, when the case was called, one of the things that came to the fore was that the Attorney General response is not yet in. So the court had made an order that within 2 weeks from yesterday, the Office of the Attorney General is expected to file their response in relation to this leg of the case, for the Supreme Court to have a fair view and a fair understanding of what will happen in relation to this case. Then a determination is made. Well, this is a case of national interest and all of that. So moments after, we spoke to Oliver Baka-Vomawo, who is counsel for in this particular case. Let's hear him.
We have two applications before the court today. One to disclose the agreement that was signed with the U.S., and the other one for an injunction against its implementation. Now, both applications, those served on the Attorney General, have not been opposed. Formally, there's no argument before the court from the state. And the Supreme Court took notice of that. But in the court's estimation, these are matters of weighty public interest, and that they demand that the Attorney General responds to them. So they have made a formal order, which is to be served on the Attorney General, requiring that they respond to these applications within 2 weeks. Okay. The court has adjourned to the 12th of November for hearing, and hopefully they do file it. If not, the court has given an indication that it's going to proceed without the state. One of the reliefs we are seeking is that the agreement itself violates international law, that by the reason of that, it is not executable and ratifiable. And so one of the reliefs is seeking to prevent Parliament from purporting to go ahead and ratify that. So these are the arguments that the Republic must respond to. We know that the state's response is that this is not even an agreement that ought to be ratified in the first place. We disagree that, but for the fact that it violates international law, it would have been ratifiable. But these are matters that are before the courts, and we hope that the injunction application will be respected while it is pending.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That is Oliver Baka-Vomawo, who is counsel in respect of this case. So on the 12th of November, this case will come up. OSP Charles Bisu and two others, Raphael Mensah and a doctor, Nade Tigo. This is one of the cases that the OSP is saying that the accused persons use their office to influence or to make some profit of a sort. Yesterday, the Office of the Special Prosecutor was expected to have a motion move for their first witness, who they say is an undercover investigator, to testify in camera or to testify in chambers. Now, that application has been filed, but the other parties have not received it. The court said it's to ensure that that application is served on them. Consequently, that case has been adjourned to October 29. Then we move to what is coming out today, Serwaa. And guess what? Kobna Edubwahin, the National Signals Bureau case, is back in court today. And the second prosecution witness, Ruby Edith Edumwa, is expected to continue with a testimony in relation to the 49.1 million Ghana cedis money, which was earmarked for cyber security defense equipment and all of that. So, but the accused persons have pleaded not guilty. At the last court sitting, we did indicate that the third accused person, Amihere Donko, had been discharged after the Attorney General's decision not to continue with prosecution of her and all of that. So today, before Justice John Nyedunyante, that case will come up again for the witness to continue with the testimony. Then we have, I'm sure a lot of people might have heard of this case for a very long time, Gregory Afoko, in relation to the acid incident sometime in the Bogatanga. And this case, Afoko has been granted bail last year in the previous legal year, I must say, but same this year. And today, he's expected back in court, Criminal Court 2, presided over by Justice Marie Louise Simmons. And there will be some update on what should be done. And remember, this is a retrial, the third time that Gregory Afuku is expected to face trial in relation to this case. So that is one of the cases that we should keep an eye on. Then, from one murder to another, JB Dankwa Edu, Sexy Don't Know, Gucci Youngstar. He has so many names and all of that. He said his real guy name is Gucci Youngstar, but the Sexy Don't Know was given to him by Dampare, the former IGP, when he was arrested and investigations were being carried out. The point is that following the hung jury, he is also expected to face a retrial. The jury will have to be empaneled and all of that for the trial to commence in relation to that. And the last one that will be following up today is in relation to the government decision or the Ministry of Interior's decision to say that foreigners who are seen or who are arrested in relation to Galamsey issues will be deported to their respective countries. Democracy Hub has taken that up and it's filed an injunction at the High Court. And this morning, the High Court will be dealing with that particular injunction. It's one of the cases that we'll keep an eye on. So, Serwaa, these are some of the things that we should expect, or some of the things that happened yesterday and what we should expect today by way of court today.
Thank you very much. Today, unfortunately, I won't be in court with you because I'm here. Murtala Nusa is our court correspondent and soon-to-be colleague.
Our viewers know that you have court duties on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
So that they will come and meet me in the court there. Yesterday, when I came out of the court complex, bloggers, I said, please, what's going on
they
here?
Were all over. So there were people who want to find out really whether you want to practice. So the game is evidence.
I said, what's going on here?
So now they are the court to verify.
Oh, so Lord have mercy, please. Thank you very much. Stay with me because Ibrahim Al-Hassan is here. We'll run you very quickly through Inside Out because our guests are here. Bernard Mona is already seated. He's been seated in the studio for the last 30 minutes, and I know that he's already given me side eyes. Inside Out is next. You're welcome. So I know that I didn't add this to the topic, but yes, I'm an old student. Bernard, please, your video. Thank you. I'm a very proud old student of Yasantua Girls. In the last couple of hours, a video has emerged of a young, beautiful lady who has a very long hair and looks obviously very sad that the school has asked her to trim her hair to be able to be a part of the school. She looks so pretty, both with hair and without hair. And Ivy, what exactly is the problem here? She's not happy. She's in tears that they are cutting her hair.
Yes.
What are people saying? What is the anger about?
The anger is, at every point in time in this country, we need something to rant about.
Absolutely.
Right? So at
the frustrations are too many, bread and butter issues. So we have to direct the frustration elsewhere.
So now there's a new one. There's a new video. Everybody's ranting. Now, why is GS insisting that young ladies do not sport the hair that they want to sport, right? Why are we enforcing the regulation that says there must be uniformity by way of how you look, not just the uniform you wear, but even the hairstyle you sport? So it's because this young girl was very sad, obviously, and weeping. So it's an emotional spectacle. So many netizens have equally caught the feeling, and they are ranting and taking on GES. But you see, Serwaa, if there are rules, the rules must be obeyed. Right? I'm not sure this will be the very first young girl. By the way, she reported to school yesterday, my first day at school, right? This will be the very first young girl who might have had to trim her hair to this acceptable level just so she could go to school. After she's done, it's just 3 years. See, she can spot her hair from her head to her toe. Nobody will say anything. But at this point in time, at the level of education that she finds herself, these are the rules. Unless the advocacy is that now we should amend the rules for every child of school-going age to sport any hairstyle without any regulation. If that's the advocacy, no problem. We can talk about it. But nobody can blame the school authorities. Nobody can blame GES because as it stands now, the law is the law.
You know what, IB? I have, there was a time, there was a conversation about UPSA and the way that the students dress and whatnot. And I wasn't on TV at the time because I was writing exams, so I could not air my view and opinion. It's a tricky situation. Yeah. Not for me, but I know for a few people out there. But my stance is this, like you said, rules are rules.
That's it.
Okay. I went through the law school in the professional law course, and we were given strict dressing guidelines and codes.
That's it.
In fact, it was so serious that there was a book of shame that if you went contrary to the dress code, your name will be registered in the book of shame, and it will be pasted on the notice board because you failed to keep your hair. For the men, you're not supposed to have this beard that you have on
so I'm told.
For school.
Yeah.
You're not. Wow. You're supposed to wear a set. You know, men like to wear these fashionable socks.
Yes.
It is not allowed. Wow. Women are not supposed to wear the kind of makeup that I have on now. Wow. So for the 2 years that I was in the professional law school, I wore makeup about once or twice to school.
Yes.
And you are not supposed to wear sling-back shoes.
Yes.
You're not supposed to wear overly tight clothes. You're not supposed to wear short dresses. And you must only wear black or white. And for the men, black suits, white shirts. These are the rules. If you cannot comply, don't come.
Simple.
I do not know why it is such a problem. I mean, there are other schools which will allow for you to braid your hair even in different colors.
Yes.
Even in the school. Look, my daughter goes to GIS, right?
Yeah.
Even though they are allowed to keep their hair, they are, even with that, there are some hairstyles that you cannot bring to school.
Yeah.
So you have chosen to go to Yasantua Girls, and that is my alma mater. I love that school because they taught me a lot of things, right? And the school says, cut your hair.
Yeah. How are we catching feelings? Because the rule is...
Why are we catching feelings there? And you know, some of these things, they shape us in ways that we cannot imagine.
Yeah.
You never know. Some of them, like when I was in Yasantua, we were taught how to walk.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, we had a whole session on how to walk.
Wow.
You cannot go home and say that, why are you stressing us over how to walk? Today, I walk better, even though people say I walk like a duck, but I feel like I walk better because of that training.
The training you got.
I walk, I'm able to, law school shaped me in terms of dressing into, because it's a noble profession, you have to look a certain way. And we were not always comfortable, but for the 2 days that you are in that school, the school says, look this way. When you go home and you want to wear red hair, that is entirely up to you. When I was in school, I would not wear this hair to school. Yeah. Now I can wear this hair and nobody can come and take my certificate from me because I'm wearing this hair.
That's true.
Sometimes we just need to abide by the rules. They are rules. They will make you uncomfortable for a bit, but once you are done, you're done.
Simple.
And like I said, these things in a very subtle way shapes us into things that we don't realize until later in life.
True.
Right?
True.
If the school says, cut your hair. I was in Yasantua, I didn't have hair on.
No,
but when I was in, Yasantua is in Kumasi, they used to call me Obroni because I'm fair. A lot of the people there were dark-skinned people, and I'm from Accra. So they would call me Obroni. And when we come home, we all come and do Jerry curls, take pictures. And that is our flex. When we go, youth activator is shining in our hair. When we go, we show it to our friends. We take pictures. 2 days or 3 days to the school time, you chop everything off because those are the rules. And you go, you do it. I don't know why they want... I really don't see the big deal.
No, honestly, I don't see the big deal. After 3 years, she's done and she's back. She's going to university, like you said. Whatever she wants to wear on her hair,
she can.
She can.
Except if she wants to go to law school.
Okay, yes.
Then she'll be back to conforming to the rules.
Exactly. There are rules. The rules must be obeyed.
I don't even understand, IB, why there was even chaos in the first place with the UPSA dress code because you want to go to the lecture hall wearing panties or what?
That's the question.
You don't want to look presentable today. You don't know that it is the way you carry yourself today. Opportunities have been given to people because of because of certain association in the university.
That's true.
You have friends today that you knew from the university, and they will think of you that, oh, as you may see, this person used to look, but you want to wear chalewate to the lecture hall, and they say no, and you are angry that times have changed.
Yes.
So allow people to be what they want to be.
If
you want to allow even the people that we look up to, that we want to look like them, do they wear bikinis to class? Do they wear chalewate and things to class?
Good point.
They look presentable. Go to the Harvards, go to the Oxfords, go to even the regular university. People are well presented, well sharply dressed.
Yeah.
You are here, they say dress appropriately, you are angry and you are coming to start some work. Please. Then sit at home and do homeschooling. Then you can look naked or do online schooling. You can be naked and wear whatever you want to wear. But if you want to go to Yasantua, we say cut your hair, you cut your hair.
You cut your hair, otherwise go to a private school that allows you to do that. See, even in the most woke environment, and finally on this, I've heard a gentleman who sports dreadlocks in the US talk about opportunities he's lost because of what he carries on his head. Even in the most woke environment, right? So yes, we will get there. But as it stands now, let's not bring this to our schools, especially at the basic level. How? That we should allow children to sport whatever hairstyle they want to, just because we are not defined by our hair. Trust me, in many instances, you are defined by how you carry yourself, including how you sport, the kind of hairstyle you sport. So this young lady will look back on this video tomorrow and relish it and say that this episode shaped who I am today, because she gets education. Of course, I equally schooled in the Ashanti region. And when you talk about Asantua girls, yes, one of the prestigious schools there, that you are closer to Prempeh, right, along that line. Yes, so basically that's it. Social media is overly in a frenzy on this.
Anyway, let's look at this last topic, and then we can wrap up on Inside Out. So, a video has also gone viral where a chief in Kede has abdicated his stool.
That's true.
And there's a lot of frenzy over that as well.
Yes.
And yesterday I was speaking with a few of my seniors on this, and the question has been, he says he's tired, so he can just go, right?
No.
But it doesn't work like that.
Yes.
And I was saying it earlier that there are decided cases that, yes, a chief can decide to abdicate his stool. Okay. But, and if we have the video, can we quickly, Nure, can we quickly show the video for those who don't know what we're talking
about? Nemo, if you never, we make a review.
So, IB, very quickly, right? I was telling you that there are decided cases on what will make this abdication valid for the want of a better expression or word, right? There's a case called Andakwe versus Abaka. Okay, Andakwe versus Abaka and others. Now, a chief can abdicate his stool, okay? It is a way of you leaving the stool. Exactly. It is very okay. Yeah. It is allowed. Yeah. However, there are what am I being trying to look for? Like criteria, exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much. For which such an abdication in customary law will be valid. And it was stated in this case, this Andakwe, and it reads, there are 4 of them. voluntary renunciation of the stool by the occupant. 2, its acceptance by the stool elders and kingmakers. 3, through the performance of the requisite rites and formalities. And then 4, publicity. The case goes on to say that if a chief openly renounces his stool, he continues to remain a chief, and the stool does not become vacant until his renunciation is accepted by the kingmakers and the necessary rites are performed, or the kingmakers take the necessary steps to destool him. So this
doesn't
yes,
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
Wow.
It really doesn't work that way. If this case is anything
of course,
to go
of
by,
course,
and
of
this is
course.
a decided case, and this is Kede. So in their custom, this is how it is supposed to be done.
But then subsequently, there are other rituals that must be performed.
Absolutely.
Right.
So the kingmakers and the elders must agree.
Yes.
And must accept.
Yeah.
Your voluntary renunciation of the stool. But in this case, they're trying to hold
exactly.
him. And he's pushing back.
In fact, they were trying to shut the door. As you can see, they're trying to shut the door. Obviously. But see, the background story is this. There's been a raging chieftaincy dispute in Kede. In fact, Kede has 2 chiefs as we speak. He, according to my sources, is supposed to be the legitimate one. He's been on the stool for 21 years. And it's been one trouble after the other. One trouble after the other. So at this point in time, he says, I'm just tired. But like you mentioned, the kingmakers will have to accept this, and a ritual will have to perform. Usually, they actually slaughter a ram, pour the blood on you, and many other things that ought to be done. But he has met 2 of the things you mentioned. So public renunciation, as he has done, and then also publicity. We are helping him publish us.
And then he released a statement afterwards,
yes.
Which basically seeks to say the same thing,
but
saying that those who have been scheming sort of can now go ahead and do whatever they want to do with the stool. We'll interrogate it further. I don't know if the Akan custom applies to the people of Kede.
Yes, it does.
It does, right? Does. So, so if the kingmakers have not agreed, Uncle, see, some people are even kneeling.
Oh, yes, they were begging him, man. It's a sad spectacle.
He won't budge. Anyway, Ivy, thank you. There's so much that we have to discuss.
True.
But we'll do that with the guests. Definitely. And then, of course, tomorrow we'll have our own day. Definitely. And then we'll get into all of that. Thank you very much. Ibrahim Al-Hassan is the head of current affairs here at the EIB Network. He's our parliamentary correspondent. He is the producer of GH Today as well. And he is, I was your parliamentary post.
Organizing secretary.
Organizing secretary of the Parliamentary Press Corps. Speaking of which, then, we should have discussed this thing about the relaying of the bill in Parliament, because you are very familiar with the standing orders in Parliament.
Yes.
And I'm wondering that when a bill has been passed by Parliament, sent to the President for assent, and the assent did not happen, does the bill have to be relayed? Isn't Parliament absolutely done with its work?
Mahama Yarga agrees with you on all fours. That's his argument, that Parliament's work was done. Parliament's work was truncated at the point of transmission. Once the Speaker has signed a bill that has been passed, the clerk has forwarded it to the Presidency. The job is done. So if the President failed to assent to it, the bill will still remain at the Presidency, so President Mahama should attend to it.
Absolutely. And in this case, what the minority leader is saying would come to play if the President had refused to assent to the bill and given reasons as to why and returned it to Parliament.
You're right.
In this case, I mean, you are lawmakers, right? Article 106. I'm sorry. Stay with me. We'll be back after the break. You're welcome back to the show. This is GH Today. I'm Serwaa Amihere. It's time for the breakfast review. I'm joined in the studio by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Afajato South, Frank Efriye. Good morning. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning.
And Bernard Mona is former flag bearer aspirant for the PNC. We're expecting a third guest to join us, but the show will go on. Okay, so before we get into the conversation, changing your baby's diaper regularly, especially after they poop or every 2 to 3 hours for newborns, helps prevent rashes and infections. Always wipe front to back, especially for girls. Clean gently with water or mild baby wipes and allow the area to air dry before putting on a fresh diaper. Wear your baby in Flora Kids baby diapers. They keep your little one dry and comfortable for longer. Flora Kids baby diapers are highly absorbent, gentle on delicate skin, and can keep your baby dry for up to 12 hours. You can call 0243-033-033 to become a distributor. This year, we're celebrating 60 years of Ghana's very own city, a journey that began in 1965. From market stalls to mobile apps, from notes to digital wallets, the city has been part of every milestone and every dream. 60 years of value, pride, and innovation, rooted in history, alive in every transaction, and ready for the future. Our city, our heritage, the city, our identity, the city, our symbol of sovereignty, the city, our national pride. The official launch is Tuesday, October 28th at the Accra International Conference Center from 9 a.m. Special guest of honor, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Be there. Let's celebrate the city, our own city. The Old Achimota Association invites you to the OAA President's Ball 2025 and the commemoration of the 1995-year group's 30th anniversary. The date is this Saturday, the 25th of October 2025. Venue, the Adisa Pavilion at Labadi Beach Hotel, starts at 6 p.m. sharp. This year's ball is more than just an evening out. It is also a fundraising event to support the 1995-year group and provide a brand new basketball court for the Achimota School. All Motowners and friends of Achimota School are cordially invited. Tickets are available now. For single is 1,200, couple 2,400. Table reservations cost 11,500. You can purchase via Momo on 0245262510. The name is 95 Achimota Association, or you can dial USSD *844*800# to purchase your ticket. The OAA President's Ball 2025, Elegance, Legacy, and the True Spirit of Achimota. Please do not miss it. There are quite a few. I will bring you all of the rest later. Okay. So this morning, there are a few things that we have to talk about. Yesterday, the Attorney General addressed a press conference on the Government Accountability Series, where he talked and gave updates on the oral cases that his office is investigating. And one of the things that he said was that he will not bow to pressure to rush cases. He also talked about the CEO or the former CEO of the Buffer Stock Company and the many properties that he has allegedly acquired through fraudulent activities while there as CEO. Let's listen to the Attorney General.
The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, says investigations have uncovered what he termed as an elaborate criminal network run by former Buffer Stock Company CEO Hanan Abdul Wahab between 2018 and 2024. Evidence the Attorney General revealed shows millions of cedis were channeled into companies owned by the embattled former CEO and his wife Faiza Said Wuni.
Within the period between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Abdul Wahab, in concert with Richard Samasanti and Bismarck Owusu-Boakye, orchestrated a transfer of 78 million 269,084 Ghana cedis and 4 pesos from the bank accounts of Buffer Stock Company to a private company linked to Hanan Abdul Wahab, his wife, and staff of Buffer Stock at Republic Bank and EcoBank. Evidence shows that the funds were instantly retransferred to companies owned by Abdul Wahab himself and companies and entities owned and associated with him and his wife.
According to Dr. Ayine, 7 firms linked to the couple served as conduits to receive and launder proceeds of crime from Buffer Stock.
Evidence shows that between December 2017 and May 2019, Hanan Abdul Wahab transferred 5,495,780 Ghana cedis and 36 pesos from Buffer Stock company accounts to 2 bank accounts belonging to Aludiba Enterprise, one of his companies at Republic Bank and ABSA. Aludiba Enterprise is not a registered supplier of Buffer Stock Company. Hanan Abdul Wahab between 2019 to January 2022 also orchestrated some suppliers to transfer an amount of 11,998,830 Ghana cedis, 48 pesos to an entity owned by a staff of Buffer Stock, and later instructed the staff to retransfer the funds to a company owned and run by himself and his wife.
He added that the laundering trail led to massive property acquisition across the country, from prime real estate to luxury assets, all purchased through same web of companies. The Attorney General further disclosed that bank records from EOCO show Hanan Abdul Wahab, his wife, and their entities became the single largest depositors at Republic Bank during the years they operated the criminal enterprise.
A 17-bedroom boutique hotel at Gumani in Tamale, in respect of which the couple used Fauza Company Limited to sign a franchise with Villa Monticello for the price of $250,000. In other words, $250,000. There is a 4-bedroom bungalow situated at GHOne, Accra, valued at 4.1 million cedis. 3-story building that is Chicken Republic, the Chicken Republic building in Tamale, situated at Estate Junction, Tamale. 5-bedroom mansion at Canville, Dorado Street, Tamale. 3-bedroom house, Palissy, Tamale. 1-story building, number 10 Selby Gardens, Achimota, Accra. Then a 0.27 acre plot of land, Estate Junction, Tamale. 0.29 acre of land, close to Workers College, Tamale. We have also frozen all these assets. I was never an incompetent lawyer in private practice. I don't want to be an incompetent lawyer in public service. So I want us to take our time to do the kind of work that I'm announcing today. And I want to also let you know that I'm under no pressure from any quarters to cut any deals. Mr. President, who is my boss, has never put pressure on me. On the contrary, when I brief him, he gives me his blessing. He doesn't even express an opinion one way or the other.
Right, so you heard the Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, there. Mr. Mona.
Well, good morning to you, to my brother, the Honorable MP for Afajatu, South, Frank Afriye. So first, let me comment and thank a few people, particularly in Takwa. On Tuesday at around 11 p.m., I had to drive a team all the way from Accra to Takwa. We got there at dawn. Yesterday, the divisional commander, the head of MTTD, and some other staff, including Seth Menu Bafu, assisted us to have some family discussions. And then when we finished, later around 4, we had to take off. And to get here very late and to be on your show, I want to thank the people of Takwa for the cordiality, and particularly the Coach Mori, and then his brother Ibrahim. Having said that, it's been a while, so let me also join the many who have congratulated you on your status as Esquire. I hear you all the time saying that it's been 5 years. 5 years, 5 years. There is a saying in our language that it gets softer after it is hard. And so I'm sure that after struggling so hard, it will get softer with you in practice. I wish you well in your legal practice, and may it turn out to favor all of us, so that anytime the police pick me up on any of my activities, you will come at my service. Let me also take this note to say that the Honorable Alhaji Chinia, I'm sure you remember him.
Of course.
Who has been insisting that I should marry you so that he will kill me and take over. He is marrying on this Sunday, and so you are off the hook now for him. And so he said I should extend invitations to you.
Oh, congratulations to him. It's happening at the Bema camp?
Yes, at Bema camp.
Okay.
And so...
Is that his first marriage?
I'm personally not in the knowledge.
Okay, congratulations. He's a good friend of the show. When is it?
It's Sunday.
This Sunday?
This Sunday at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
I like the second part, the reception at the pool at the Air Force Officers' Mess.
Okay.
And that is the part I will participate in.
Okay. We'll be there.
Otherwise, when you go and witness the tying of the knot and there is any problem, you are called to come and answer. But at the reception, there will not be any problem. So, Chini, I'll join you at the reception. Having said that, I am a bit cold at what my brother, Dominic Ayine, in our settings, I will say that this Frafra boy, because you know Frafras and Dagaba have that relationship. But since it is a national issue, let me be more serious on it. No one compelled the Attorney General to start telling us the rapidity with which he was investigating certain cases. He gave us possibly more than we needed. And many people had told him that why bring all these things to the public domain? You could have just gone straight to court and let it be done there. I'm sure you remember the National Service scandal issue, how he came talking about the scheme people got involved and how they have been able to trace all that. That is a matter to be determined in court. No one compelled the Attorney General to come and tell us. 2, we remember the signal, the director of the signal unit, National Signal Unit, Bureau. Remember how he came and then the fury, the trail that he gave, giving all the evidence. How the man and his wife, where they transferred money to and all that. The Attorney General serialized it and gave it to us. If it was not conclusive enough, why did we have to get that information? Then even yesterday, he came to tell us about my brother Hanan, how he and his wife has been involved, the properties they have acquired and all that. Nobody asked the Attorney General to spray us with such information. So now that you publicly have stated what these people have been involved in, the confiscation with which you have done your investigations, and people are saying that if it is indeed true that what you told us, you believe in them, and you cannot tell us that you did not conclude investigations before informing the public. So who is putting pressure on who now? Because you invited this. If you were going to your court smoothly, we will not get to know. But you point out properties, and yesterday, just imagine the number of properties that he pointed out regarding the former CEO of the National Buffer Stock. So when we say go and prosecute, you are delaying in the prosecution, you come and tell us that no, it requires thorough investigations. So what you are telling us is that you did not do thorough investigations before you came out with this public pronouncement. And that is why it elicited response from Hanan that, look, these informations you put up came to him as a surprise, and that you are geared towards tarnishing his image. Attorney General should tone down. Bro, tone down.
But the people want updates. Should we not provide those updates?
What is that update for? Sorry. What is that update for? You are telling us that somebody is a thief. That the person, through some schemes, paid money in excess of 40 million into their account. And that these monies were spread into companies owned by him and his wife. And I say that one is not difficult to obtain. In this modern era, it's not difficult to obtain the number of companies that anybody might have registered. Because once you use your Ghana card and they go through the system, it will pop out all the companies that you are associated with. So it should not be difficult at all. So those who are saying that it is not true, your Ghana card will give you up. As soon as they put in the Ghana card into the system, everything about you will show. And you cannot register anything in this country without the Ghana card. You cannot open a bank account. You cannot even register your SIM. You cannot do passport. Many things you cannot do without a Ghana card. So once you put up that thing, everything that you are associated with, it will show. And so if indeed you have done it and you are denying, they will just go to court and then give a printout. That this is your Ghana card number, this is a company you are associated with, and these are the shares associated with the company and your ownership. So I don't think that is anything to struggle to say that these days you go and find. But my worry is President Mahama, in opposition and in campaigning, was very clear as to how he wants to combat corruption in this country. And so many things have happened. And so immediately President Mahama started his campaign, they put up the Operation Recover All Loot, right? And Operation Recover All Loot received significant support across the aisle. People within the New Patriotic Party were incensed by the voluptuous appetite by some of the appointees and the kind of acquisitions they were involved in. So they wanted these people to be dealt with. Most people were using it to show off. There were party chairmen who were agitated that appointees were getting certain things and they were not getting. And some of the information we got at the time were actually coming from members of the New Patriotic Party. So rightfully, President Mahama spoke about Operation Recover All Loot. Fast track, when he won elections, immediately before he could even be sworn in, he set up a committee headed by the Honorable Ablakwa Okujeto, supported by Dom Levo, supported by Kofi Boachi, Martin Pebu, and others. These are not just players. They are serious actors in our national politics and in their various endeavors. They gave their report timeously to the president. Mr. President instantaneously handed it over to the Attorney General. Go and act on this. It was within the same space that the oral committee were able to go around splash places to stop certain constructions, right? Because they were seen as state property, state lands that individuals wanted to take over and immediately put up structures. Attorney General, you are acting on it. You have come to start to tell us how you have gone with some of these investigations and nobody forced you. So today, if we are saying that 8 months down the line, 10 months down the line, we are not seeing nothing, then you come and tell us that you know Koto to practice, to pressure. Who is pressurizing you?
Isn't the public pressurizing?
Because you elicited it. If you did not come and tell us what the Signal Bureau did and the chain of sophistry, if you did not tell us what the National Service Scheme was doing, if you did not tell us what Hanan is doing, we would not have been in the known. And we believe that you have done thorough investigations. And now we believe that the only reason why you are delaying is that, quote, as we do in Ghana, some religious heads, some chiefs, some big men somewhere are putting pressure on you to hold on to the prosecution. And that is why we are not doing it. And these things have happened. The state spent a lot of money trying to conduct investigations. We delay with it a year, 2, 3, 4. There's a change of government. The new government comes, and what they do is that they just file a nolle prosequi, as you call it. They are no more interested in the case. The case is discontinued. And all the investment that is put in, we suffer. Certainly, this is not the time to tolerate such. So, Mr. Attorney General, you have to act, and act with speed and dispatch, so that they believe in the people of Ghana that President Mahama was actually interested in recovering the loot will be manifested.
All right. Let's welcome Kofi Ofosu-Nkansah. He's a former CEO of the NEIP. Honorable MP, happy with the work of the Attorney General, or you also think that he's speaking too much?
Well, let me use the opportunity, just like my senior has done, to also congratulate you and to say good morning to our global viewership. Chief Bernard has always been my boss, and on this important platform, I wish I could adopt his words as though they were mine, but certainly I have certain variations, with the greatest respect to him. I think that so far, the government is on course. The principle of rule of law, and of course, prosecution of people who have gone contrary to our laws, is always supposed to be in tandem with established procedures. Procedures that, of course, will guarantee fairness, will not enhance arbitrariness. Procedures that invariably or ultimately will give a very sound conviction where all of us will applaud the democracy we are practicing, that when you go contrary to the law, you will be prosecuted but not persecuted. I think that this is where we are. But for me, the crux of the issue had to do with public expectation. Prior to the ascension to the throne by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, it is the case that most Ghanaians really prioritize prosecution of individuals, particularly those who served in the previous regime, who probably have wantonly dissipated the public purse in one way or the other. They needed such individuals to pay, and that the state should be in a position to take every legitimate step to retrieve those, in quote, stolen resources back to state coffers. I think that the victory of margin given His Excellency Mahama spoke volume of the level of expectation. Now, topical to that had to do with the practical measure His Excellency outdoored, which had to do with the oral approach. And indeed, just like my senior has mentioned, ORA did its work within a short period of time to submit, if I may call it docket, or some document and evidence of wrongdoing, misappropriations, misuse of public office here and there, in their words. But mind you, we couldn't refer to those as careful and thorough investigations or evidence that have arisen out of careful and thorough investigation. If they were, I do not think that the president would have done that referral to the Attorney General again. And so the language that the ordinary man speaks sometimes varies from the language that a prosecuting authority like the Attorney General must speak, because the name of the game is evident, because the law is always the law. But I think that the AG's approach and the government's overriding principle, as it were, to enhance transparency, as it were, to enhance inclusivity, as it were, to carry the citizenry along and say, look, at all time T, we want to throw light on where we have got to, what we are doing, the intention, the intent, the objectives, and so that we could have buy-in from the citizenry as well. I think that is one other thing that is causing this perception of delay in the prosecutorial process, if I may be allowed to hazard such a guess, to the extent that the AG, just like other ministers, has had his tenure and had to account to the real owners of this country, the ordinary citizens whose tax, oils the wheels of government. That look, this is where we have got to. Something definitely, a lot is being done. There are cases now before the courts. You talk about the SkyTrain issue, which has to do with about $2 million. You talk about the national service scandal, which had to do with excess of 500 million Ghana cedis. Really? Okay, thanks for the correction. You talk about some other cases that are already ongoing in court. Unfortunately, there is a Chinese wall between where the Attorney General's work begins, continues, and probably ends. He is not the final arbiter. He's not the final person who will pronounce judgment. And so the pace at which these cases are resolved at the law court also gives us food for thought. And then we need to be having conversation around such a subject as well. Now that we have a newly appointed Chief Justice yet to be vetted and handed his instrument of authority, then say, look, as a people, we think that, yes, the principle of due process must be obeyed, but then judgment should be fastened a bit. I know those of you clothed with legal understanding, you have something like that, you say, the law grinds slowly but surely. But I think that for us, restoration back to state coffers of stolen resources is what matters to us at this moment as ordinary citizens. Because if you look at the infrastructure gap, if you look at the yawning gap in terms of poverty, if you look at the suffering that the ordinary Ghanaian is going through, what matters to them is how their standard of living is uplifted. And that can only be achieved if we have judicious utilization of scarce resources of state. And so I think that the AG might have to review his approach specifically, because the ordinary man...
How exactly would you want him to approach
the
it?
ordinary man will ask the same question my senior has asked. Okay, so if you churn out all these things that Hanan has illegitimately acquired within a short period of time.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Thank you. Then, what do? You do the needful. In quote, a thief allegedly is never presented with a bouquet of flowers. At best, they are punished according to established laws. And so for the ordinary man, that is the language they want spoken. And so he may have to review the approach from that standpoint, because ordinary, in quote, ministers whose jurisdiction may not have to do with so much law and legalese, they can give such updates. But I think that he may have to lessen the rate at which he gives some of the updates in public. I mean, with the greatest respect, so that it doesn't look as though you have all this evidence, then what are you waiting for? That's the next question that people will ask. Unfortunately, my mother in the village doesn't know that the AG is not the final authority to give judgment. Are you getting my point? Yes. And so these are the areas that I think that he needs to polish, in addition to my earlier prescription that the bench must also maybe take a second look at the pace, with which they are prosecuting some of these, cases. Notwithstanding the fact that they must at all times giving every accused fair hearing and ensure that the principle of due process is strictly adhered to.
I think that you're the first NDC person that I've heard take such a position. It's interesting, Anyway.
No, it shouldn't be interesting. He just alluded to the fact that we've been colleagues, and so I don't deal with people who are crooked.
You just had to say that. Ms. Nkansa,
yes,
so you missed Bernard's submission, but
yeah.
he didn't. You were watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the allegations against the former CEO of the Buffer Stock, who I must say has come out to say on his Facebook page that these allegations are unfortunate, and he's hoping to have his day in court so that he will be heard, and he believes that at the end of the day he'll be proven innocent. But you are also clearly not happy with the AG providing regular updates on some of these oral cases, are you?
It's not a question of not being happy with the AG providing updates, but the way and manner it is done. Serwaa, the Attorney General is a principal legal officer for all of us. Right? What is the title? Attorney General and Minister of Justice. So he's also supposed to ensure that every Ghanaian gets justice. But what do we see? We've seen a politicization of this whole oral thing. Right from its inception, when Honorable GHOne and his team, cataloged a list of suspected crimes and put a price tag of $21 billion on it. National Service got, I think, $4.5 billion. But today, what figures are they taking to court? So you don't do that. He's supposed to go through the proper criminal justice processes and procedures. What does Article 19(2)(c) of the Constitution say? Presumption of innocence until proven guilty. But it seems our AG has reversed this now and comes in public to pronounce suspects guilty, tag them as looters, operators of criminal enterprise, perpetrators of jungle behavior, and he uses a lot of unprintable words on people who are merely suspects. And even within this short-fought Republican era, we've seen cases upon cases, political cases like this being thrown away by the courts. Right from the Mills Mahama administration, when some MPP functionaries were processed for court and the courts freed them, to even recent cases like the Honorable Atufosin one where he was freed. So imagine using all these words, damaging their reputation, and then the courts coming out to give the verdict that they were not guilty. What happens to their damaged reputation? That is why I am very disappointed in both the AG and his deputy. I mean, I'm just a layman. I don't qualify to advise them. Both of them are professors of the law, and they are also experienced practitioners. So we expected them to do better. Nobody is saying don't come out to give updates of the pending cases, but go through the due process. Don't use derogatory language. Come and tell us what charges you have filed and what you're expecting from the court. This is what former AGs, Godfredami and Gloria Kufuor did. 19 convictions were secured in the last 8 years. In the Venture Capital Fund case, the National Communications Authority, NCA case, Maslow case, and then the Capital Bank case. But we didn't see this media razzmatazz associated with those cases. What mattered most was that in the venture capital case, for instance, anything that was recoverable was gotten back into the state coffers. The assets were frozen and all that. But you don't come out and pronounce suspects guilty as if, people are giving mob justice at Kaneshi Market or Kejetia Market. I think that is what the AG and his deputy are doing, and it's very, very unfortunate. It is not too late. They should focus on the prosecutions. I will not come and sit here and defend anybody who has embezzled state funds, whether he's MPP, NDC, CPP, or whatever. But due process and the rule of law must be respected. Damage to reputation cannot be repaired. We've seen instances where in the Dubai case, for instance, ISC Holdings have come out to say that they supplied the software, the national security software that he allegedly didn't supply. And because he's come out in the media to say all sort of things about the Dubai case, his lawyers have also come out to reply him in the public. So it's like a media trial. And we've heard the lawyers, for instance, say that he served as a decoy. His companies were used as a decoy for national security operations. They were given approval by the national security coordinator. So the fact that transfers are being made from his private account to the national security account and back doesn't mean these are state funds he's embezzling. Hanan is also saying he has invoices, waybills, and documentation to cover every money that was transferred from buffer stock account for the purposes of buying food and supplying the free SHS students.
But the minister talks about the fact that at the time that the former CEO was leaving office, he was on a salary of about 24 or 28,000 Ghana cedis as CEO.
Yes.
But then he lives and has acquired a property in a luxurious area like Chain Homes, and asked us to do the math, because he also said that after interrogation with the wife as well, she said that she was a housewife who was being paid 5,000 Ghana cedis every month by the husband, and throws it to all of us that do the math and see if persons who are being paid on such salary can afford some of these things that they allegedly own.
So Hanan has again come out to deny that he doesn't even own all those properties. Allegedly.
Has he? I haven't seen the part.
Right. Okay, maybe it's privileged information I have. I don't know. And that there is a case pending at the Adenta High Court challenging the ownership of some of these properties. The individuals who own some of these properties allegedly frozen by the AG are in court challenging them. So I don't know what method the AG used to even identify or confirm that these properties belong to Hanan. Yesterday I saw a list of bags allegedly owned by his wife. I don't know how the AG got that information. Did he go into their bedroom to count their bags and to, confirm that there are 64 wristwatches and their values and all that? I think, respectfully, the AG should leave the politics to his party communicators and propagandists, and he should focus on the prosecutions. When they took over, we were expecting them to approach the aura holistically and go after everybody who has, taken state money. There were cases pending in court. We have the Saglemi case, Honorable Colin Zawada and others, $200 million. They were supposed to build 5,000 housing units. They built just 1,500. What happens to the 3,500 remainder? The OBS, SNIT, OBS scandal, the Dr. Opuni case and all that. Why didn't we allow the cases to get to their logical conclusion as it happened when MPP took over? So that when the courts freed them, we would know that the prosecution could introduce evidence, to make their case. That is why they lost cases. But you just come and rush to final prosecute, for your party people. So what does that presuppose? It paints the impression that you only came after.
In the Cocoa Board case, for instance, where the AG filed a nolle prosequi. It had been how many years? It had been going on for about 7 years. It does not?
It does not matter. You are a lawyer, and congratulations. You people have technicalities for delaying cases. And Gorfedami came out to explain the complexities of these processes. I'm not a lawyer, and how the cases were taking time. And he has even suggested an amendment, to an act in Parliament to the new AG for him to adopt to help, expedite action on some of these cases. So are we saying that when the new government took over, they filed no prosecutor for all other cases which have lasted more than 8 years? No, there are criminal cases in Superior Courts of Judicature, which have taken over 10 years. Why didn't the AG nullify all these cases? But only political cases which affect NDC people. So it paints a clear agenda to go after MPP functionaries, to tag the party as corrupt, and you leverage that to campaign and politicize issues towards the next general election. And I'm appealing to the Attorney General and his deputy to be very professional going forward and stop the politicization of the cases, the pre-charging press conferences. How do you come and list a litany of issues, alleged stolen properties and all that before you even, bring charges against the accused or the suspects? You have not even charged them, but you come and talk plenty at press conferences to accuse everybody. Previously, we were only hearing of the details of these cases after charges were filed. When the AG files charges and it goes to court, then court reporters, would go and report on what charges were filed, evidence adduced in court, and then you get briefed according to the chronology of the case and how the case is being, managed in court. But now, it's like public relations. They are managing information to change people's perception about the MPP government, and the executives who served in this.
You think that it is the press conferences that are changing people's perceptions about the NPP government?
So, and that is what has heightened people's expectations on this oral thing.
But they campaigned heavily on oral.
Yes.
Oral was one of their flagship campaign
but that's at that
promises.
time. They didn't have the evidence. It was just a perception that, these people may have embezzled some state funds. And based on those perceptions, you catalog a long list of so-called corruption cases, put a value of 21 billion on it. Today, we are having Domolevo, who was one of the members of the oral committee, tell us it was a collection of garbage which is not verified, or which was not verified. How do you do that? And I'm very surprised once again, because it means the AG, allowed himself to be used for collection of garbage. When we saw the terms of reference of oral, we were told they were supposed to adduce evidence, collect evidence, and hand it over to the AG for prosecution. But today we are being told a different thing. He said it on one of your sister platforms yesterday, but it was a collection of garbage without verification. So they've wasted everybody's time. That is why it is even taking the AG more time to adduce evidence and charge people before. So next time, and the unfortunate thing about all these things is that it leads to loss of confidence in the political establishment. Look at the turnout we had in the last year's election, 64% from a high of 85% in 2020. People are losing confidence in the political class because we are calling each other thieves without evidence. Everybody who comes into the political space is suspected to be a thief until, you are not found to be one. And it is very, very unfortunate. So we, the political parties, should hasten slowly. We should not be calling each other thieves. Well, there are legitimate grounds.
You did same when you were in government, when you were in opposition.
If you can give me instances.
Oh, that you made allegations of corruption against
instances.
the then NDC government, and said that when you came to power, you were going to jail them, and they even said that upon all the quote-unquote noise that you made, you were not able to jail all the tall list of names that you provided.
Because they came to file non-prosecutor.
Some of the what?
Yes.
They filed non-prosecutor after 7 years.
It does not matter, Serwaa. I just threw a challenge to you that if you go to our course right now, you will find criminal cases which have traveled over 10 years. Why haven't they filed non-political or non-government criminal cases? Why haven't they filed non-prosecutor for all those cases? The AG got conviction in 4 major cases, on 9 people. The only case the AG lost was the Atufosin case, the ambulance case, and even then, he appealed at the appeal court, and it was one of the cases that the current government filed no prosecutor. If you look at the approach we used, it was very legal, it was methodological, and the due process was followed. That is why there wasn't a lot of media razzmatazz, on the prosecutions. Our people were disappointed, because they expected more. But what do we say? That the wheels of justice grind slowly. But eventually, you will get there. It is better to follow the right processes to make sure the right people are prosecuted than to prosecute people or persecute them in the media, to engage in media trial, which I have called mob justice. And this is not done by no mere person than the Attorney General and his deputy, and I think so, it is very, very unfortunate.
All right, let's move on. I think that on this matter, the interests are almost the same, right?
But can I have a word, Jason?
Okay, please, quickly, and please speak up a bit for me.
Okay, so for me, essentially, with the greatest respect to my colleague on the other side, this issue about the fact that Collins Dauda and co. over Saglimi have been in court, indeed for 8 good years, if there were credible evidence to wrongdoing, why did the regime fail to convict these people?
He said that the wheels of justice grind slowly.
I mean, then it clearly shows that to some extent there was lack of evidence. And so sometimes when we speak about these issues, we must come mounting moral horses. Otherwise, then it questions the foundation of principle in all this. Again, look.
So they were charged on 31st July 2021. So that is some 4 years.
Who was charged?
Collins Dauda and 4 others charged for misapplication of funds causing financial loss. So that is one mistake we always make, that not all the cases started in 2017. The investigations might have taken some time.
That's just one of it.
Yeah. For all the cases, we can go to the day, because don't forget we got some convictions in the first term. But, venture capital, the conviction was secured in the first term. National Communications Authority, Bafobani and 2 others, the conviction was secured in the first term.
But you also remember that Atufosin was part of the persons that was standing trial.
Yes.
He went to the Court of Appeal and won.
Yes.
So
and
you pronounce,
the beauty of
both
democracy.
of you all pronounce each other so corrupt without evidence.
I don't remember Gofedame coming to meet the press to list Honorable Atufosin's properties.
So your problem is the listing of the property. But this is a government that campaigned very heavily on oral. Remember? And even immediately the president was sworn in, he set up the oral committee. What wrong has he done if he's providing updates on the alleged corruption cases? Because these cases are still going to come into the media anyway.
Yes. The wrong he has done is calling them looters before they are charged, calling them perpetrators of jungle behavior before they go to court, calling them members of criminal enterprise before they get opportunity to answer. You know, more often than not, when the prosecution charges the accused, you think that is all, and the accused will not have any case to answer. But when people man the witness box and the prosecutors are being cross-examined, your lawyer says, well, that is where you see the holes are being punched in the cases of the prosecution. So until a court of competent jurisdiction convicts a suspect, you cannot tag them criminals and call them perpetrators of jungle behavior. And this is coming from the chief legal officer of the country, the Minister of Justice, who is supposed to ensure that there is fair play and justice for all Ghanaians, irrespective of party, creed, or tribe. I think it is very, very unfortunate.
And
I think Honorable will agree with me.
Yes, look, to some extent I agree, but I disagree also. You see, the courts really do not go to the marketplace to do their judgments. So the banter between the NDC and the MPP, the name calling, we have had it all along. Indeed, during former President Akufo-Addo's regime, Mahama was supposed to use over $10 million to print presidential diaries. This was an allegation made by the president himself. Okay, Mahama was supposed to own hotels in Dubai and some other places. High-ranking MPP people. Look, the approach of
food soldiers' behavior cannot be likened
it's not. The president wasn't a food soldier then. President Akufo-Addo wasn't a food soldier.
What did President Akufo-Addo say?
Yeah, he said the presidency used $10 million to print presidential diaries. Please, you can fact check.
I'm not aware of that.
Yes, please fact check. You see, so all these things, they've been on both sides. For me, I think that I am glad, I'm excited that the courts will not take those marketplace arguments for their judgment. Indeed, when it comes to style, we all have our different styles. So AG Ayene will have his style, different from what's the name? Dami had. And indeed, we have had cause to believe that at a certain point in time, the kind of judgment And the approach was also problematic to the extent that...
Are you attacking a judiciary?
I'm coming. I'm not attacking judiciary. In fact, Kandapa came to tell us that the kind of judgment and then the unanimous, whatever it is, all those things, once upon a time, I mean, they were part of our history. And so this time round, we have all said that, yes, the aura has imposed some kind of pressure, directly or indirectly, on the AG. But again, we must distinguish and make the point clear that the aura team itself was not a court or an investigative committee so properly called. Their work is still subject to what the AG does before going to court in order to what? Achieve credible conviction. That is the point. And I think that, for me, this whole thing about who owns what, pretty soon we'll get to know anyway.
But we will encourage the AG to continue tagging people as thieves before they go to court to defend themselves.
Reality is that the public deserve to know the work that is being done so far.
I agree with you on that.
Okay? Because the taxpayers' money is what is being used. However, I think that, as I mentioned earlier on, he can maybe use a different approach if he thinks that this one is imposing some kind of, pressure on him. But at all times, we must not and should not expect the AG to sacrifice quality for expedition.
All right, let's move on. You want to?
I think that conclusively, what we have witnessed this morning is that these two political parties will only do the same thing that we are talking about: delay the cases, blame the slow pace of justice delivery in this country. And then when there is an eventual change of political power, the cases are discontinued.
That is exactly, we don't have that record.
That is exactly...
It's NBC Richard.
That is exactly what we are witnessing today, right? And I just heard you say that some cases started in 2021.
Yeah.
What does it take for cases that you are so much passionate about?
With lots of evidence.
That you believe that, and you are the head of the bar, that you could not secure prosecution. Then you turn around when the cases are discontinued. Then say, why were they discontinued?
Well, you are just expressing disappointment over the discontinuation of the cases by political parties.
Yes, precisely. And I'm saying that, why? You had the chance. And that is why we are not giving in for this Attorney General to use the same theatricals that we suffered in your regime. Because we were told justice grinds slowly, what and what, before you realize your government had expired. A new government comes in and says, no, these people have always said and claimed to be innocent, and therefore they are innocent. We have no
going into the merits of the case.
Well, they said they cannot find any evidence, and that what you left for them, they cannot go on court or to the court to go and prosecute. So they left it. In fact, they would have acted on the handing over notes of the former Attorney General.
Exactly.
And so when they took the former Attorney General's handing over notes, they went through and found out that probably there was no merit to continue the case. Whatever it is that informed that decision, you cannot blame them. You can blame this slowness with which you approach the matters before you. And that is why there is every attention on Dominic Ayine, that speed up, talk less, and act more. That is all we are saying.
Okay. So on Tuesday, we were told that the anti-gay bill, popularly called, was put on the order paper and said that Sam George and a few other members of parliament were leading a reintroduction of the anti-LGBTQ plus bill in Parliament. And then on Wednesday, we're told that the bill miraculously disappeared from the order paper again. And then there's been a lot of questions as to what exactly is going to happen. I have heard from the minority leader and from the majority leader. Let's listen to both of them. We'll come back and talk about it.
Home to roost. They have come home. Please. Only yesterday, when we were raising this issue, Mr. Speaker, you were saying that the bill must pass. Now you are in government, you are in the hot seat. When the IMF, the World Bank, IPU threatening, you are now running away, you are saying procedure. Which mistake? There was nothing administratively in error. I dare say for the records. You force LGBT on the throat of the Akufo-Addo government. Today, you don't want LGBT. You would want it. Mube pepper. Mube pepper, papa, papa, papa. You use it to win election. Now, when your stakeholders, the international community is warning you, you want to run away. Run to where?
When we drew the attention of the Speaker to the advertisement, he indicated that he did not recall approving that it should be advertised. And the clerk told me that he thought the bills had gone through the processes. But Speaker said, well, you have to bring me the evidence, because I don't recall approving that these two bills should be advertised. We indicated that we thought that the bills had been passed by this House already and had been sent to the presidency for assent. And so we didn't see the need to reconsider a bill that has already been passed by this House, waiting for presidential assent.
All right, so we have heard the minority leader, the majority leader. What are your thoughts? I mean, well, what I think does not matter at this point. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Nkanta.
Yeah, so obviously the NDC is now playing politics with it after saying so much.
How are they playing politics?
Yes, because how does the president say, because the bill has expired, it has to be reintroduced in Parliament? You know, it has to be relayed. And then 10 months down the line, we have the majority leader say it just needs an assent because it has been worked on in Parliament already and it was forwarded to the presidency. So whose position do we take now? You know, the thing with this LGBTQ thing is that we all agree as Ghanaians that it is inconsistent with our values and cultural norms. All the major faiths in the country are against it, whether it is Christianity, Islam, or the traditional worshippers. You know, but there are external implications with our international relations with other countries. There are economic and financial implications as well. I think all over the world, about 64 countries or so have criminalized, LGBTQI. And most of these countries are in Africa, and the Middle East, and Asia. It suggests that the West, the Europeans and the North Americans, are liberal, and most of them are not against it. And they are the ones who also support us when it comes to finances and economic activities. So I'm not surprised to see the NDC playing delayed tactics with the laying of the bill or assenting to the bill now, because they know there are economic and financial implications. We are on an IMF program. We're expecting some millions in the next few weeks. You know, they are probably thinking about how, passing this bill will affect these millions that we are expecting into our economy. They are probably thinking about how it will affect our international relations with some developing partners and other developed countries. But when they were in opposition, they were not in that situation. They were just putting pressure on government, and of course, they got some political capital from it too. Then the pressure was on us, and we're coming out of COVID, debt exchange restructuring, we were getting restoration from the economy, gains from most of the reforms that we had post-COVID. So I don't know if it was one of the reasons why the government was a bit slow with managing it so that it may not affect our finances, especially our program with the IMF and other development partners. The NDC is in a similar situation now. They have been lucky. COVID has gone down. It has disappeared. The implications of the global disruptions in supply chains are not there as they used to be. We are actually getting a lot of gains from the restructuring that we did. So they are in a better position now to be bold, to sign this bill, do what the good people of Ghana now. It was one of their major campaign promises. I don't know what quantum of votes or what percentage of votes that might have contributed, but obviously, I'm sure it helped them in a way. The way they collaborated with our religious leaders and other people who are anti-LGBTQ to put pressure on the then Akufo-Addo government to sign that bill. The pressure is on them now. They should do what they promised and, tell the good people of Ghana that they meant what they said in opposition and that they were not just playing politics for the sake of getting political power.
Mr. Mona.
I recall that President John Dramani Mahama, in opposition, indicated that if this bill was brought to his desk, he would sign it immediately. And I also recall that when another pronouncement was made when he won the elections, he intimated that the rules would require that since President Akufo-Addo did not sign and his regime had elapsed, it would require a reintroduction of the bill. In that, the president indicated that he was going to cause the executive to introduce it instead of the bill going through as a private member's bill. I am at a loss that the majority leader will now say that the bill is already passed by Parliament and that it's with the presidency and only requires presidential assent. I am not certain that the majority leader has served more in Parliament than the president has, though he is a lawyer as majority leader. And so, a lot of confusion. But I also heard the Honorable Minority Leader also talking about possible reasons for which Akufo-Addo could not sign the bill. Pressure from the international community, Bretton Woods institutions, like the IMF, World Bank, and other donor partners, being the compelling factor for which Akufo-Addo could not. And that the NDC in opposition glossed or ignored these international pressures that could frustrate what the people of Ghana want to get. It cannot get low or lower. When our political leaders come to throw their hands in despair of a so-called big bully somewhere that is not allowing them to do what will benefit the people, it weakens all of us. So he's saying that it is those pressures that are mounted on the NDC today that they cannot do what is good for us. What is the essence of our governance then? That we struggle, go through tedious campaigns, elect people that must work in our interests, and then there is some international bully somewhere who determines the direction that we must go as a people. Scandalous. These things don't make any sense. They don't make any sense. Assume that Afenyomakin is speaking the truth. Assuming that Mahama Yarga is speaking the truth, President Mahama should assent to the bill today. if they are both speaking the truth. Yeah. In order that we assert our independence and authority, then President Mahama must sign the bill today to dispel any notion that we elect leaders that are lightweight. Anyway, let me hold it here.
Honorable MP, he has a point. I lean towards the argument of the majority leader because it's once Parliament has passed the bill, there certainly is an assumption and presumption that the work of Parliament is done and the standing orders will not even apply. So the bill is there. It's been passed by Parliament. The President did not refuse to sign it. He did not assent to it because of the many legal battles that was being fought, with regard to the bill. So why can't President Mahama just assent to the bill?
Well, so I thank you once again. Clearly, on the first day of the third meeting of the 9th Parliament, we all saw on the order paper a number of bills that were advertised. Prime among them had to do with the human sexual rights and family values, otherwise known as Anti-Gay Bill 2025. Likewise, Property Rights of Spouses Bill 2025 was also advertised, among others. Reality is that under normal circumstances, there is a committee of Right Honourable Speaker that is called the Business Committee. They sit and then decide on the business of the House, or those things, the bills and activities that might gain prominence within a particular week for consideration by plenary. And so because on this scale, we reopen on Tuesday, they had to sit on Monday. Under normal circumstances, they do sit on Thursday prior to Friday so that we consider the business for the next week. And so before then, the business committee will present its finding to Mr. Speaker for his blessings as to what among the lot make entry onto the order paper for the week. But then, if you look at the timing, among others, it's clear that there were certain businesses that they did not have the opportunity of presenting to Mr. Speaker before the publication by the clerks. And among them had to do with these two particular bills that I mentioned, the Property Rights of Spouses as well as the Anti-Gay Bill, if I may call it that way. And so, having realized it, they went into conclave. Before every day's proceeding, Mr. Speaker and leadership will go into a special pre-sitting, which we call conclave, technically. It is at this point that Mr. Speaker questioned the clerk that how come I'm not aware of this. Mind you, the bill did not originate from the executive. Most bills that the House consider, they often originate from the executive. However, there is room, like my senior has mentioned, for private individuals also to propose and come out with bills which must pass through due process, which process are established in our standing orders. And so, inadvertently, these two bills were captured by the clerk, and the clerk admitted that, look, and expressed remorse, that he thought they have met all the standard or the processes that must be observed. And so this is what really happened. And if not for the theatrics, the showmanship, and the rest, and the politics of it, this is nothing new. Because look, I tell you, the last meeting, when I say the last meeting, all the sittings in a particular let me say, term for ordinary man to understand. Before we went on recess, there's been one particular item that has consistently been advertised, and that had to do with membership of ECOWAS Parliament. Then it got to a point where they decided that they would take it off. Until such time that work was done, it passed through all the processes and satisfy every requirement before they republish. So publication, delisting, republicizing is nothing new in Parliament. And so I think that it's just for the politics of it that the minority leader would like again to say that, look, Mahama is not committed. But talking about commitment, I think that there's been demonstrable evidence that the president is committed to ensuring that as a people, we put a stop to what is not part of our culture. I mean, that creeping, the danger that is gradually creeping into our society, we put a stop to it. He was categorical on every platform that he was asked about his revulsion or acceptance for it. He was categorical that he's totally against it, and that when given the opportunity, he will work to ensure that this does not see the light of day. But you see, the other side of it is what the majority leader has said. Thankfully, I am not clothed with legal experience, but then you are a lawyer. Not too long ago. Not too long ago.
But it took you 5 years. So in all this period, you were learning law.
Amanda Odoy and Richie Sky and co, went to the Supreme Court to evoke its original jurisdiction or interpretative jurisdiction on whether the president needed to sign or not. I think that those things was what delayed President Akufo-Addo in court. Until now, we are learning that it's just the IMF pressure. But today, where we see there is no IMF pressure on the NDC. And I need also to put on record that in Parliament, the leader of government business, Mahama Yariga, is of the NDC stock. The Speaker is neutral. But if you really want to trace his political journey, he is of the NDC stock. And so, why would anybody create the impression that, oh, these people sat and this thing was published, and because it was going to hurt the government, that is why they have delisted. When in fact, it's not the only thing that was delisted. Parliament, as it stands now, is in the hand of the NDC. We control more than 2/3. And so, if we really want to do anything except to change a man into a woman, and the vice versa.
In fact, if you do, we will disagree with you.
It's not everything you can do in Parliament.
Yeah, the reality is that we are minded by the views from the opposition as well. And so we will not go on that tangent. We'll always be accommodative of dissent. But the law at this point will be tested, that even the Supreme Court said that they could not rule on something that, in their opinion, was inconclusive, and that a bill only becomes a law when the president assents to it. And so, when the president President Akufo-Addo, failed to assent to it or did not assent to it, then it means that there was no law before even the Supreme Court to consider. This was their ruling, for which reason they dismissed the case. And so you realize that this whole thing is open for a lot of legal interpretation. His Excellency Mahama is not a lawyer. President Mahama is not a lawyer. He says that what one parliamentary term did not finish dies with that parliament. So in the 8th parliament, what they did not finish automatically died. In this 9th parliament that I am a part of, if we initiate processes, bills, and the rest, and we do not get to its logical conclusion, and the life of this parliament comes to an end, automatically those things will die with it, per our practice, until the 10th parliament that will reinitiate it. So Mahama Yariga's point is simple, that the democracy we practice, Parliament has its own responsibilities. the judiciary has its own remit, and the executive has its own work. This private member bill we talk about came to Parliament, and Parliament dealt with it conclusively. And it's now gone to a different arm of government, which is the executive, the president, to sign. And the president said he couldn't sign because other citizens were, as it were, inviting the interpretation of the judiciary. And so Mahama Yariga's point is that how do you attempt to fix what is not broken? Why will Parliament now go to start all over what it has dealt with conclusively? Assuming the 8th Parliament did not finish the process of first, second, third reading of bills and consider that bill passed, then that is where we will be saying that the 9th Parliament should restart the process. He is talking purely from a legal standpoint as a lawyer, an accomplished one for that matter. So yes, the president has legal advisors, but then these legal advisors, whatever they say, it doesn't preclude other lawyers or legal luminaries from also bringing their views. And so my reading is that on this particular issue, we are faced with possibility of legal tussles. Because as an ordinary member of Parliament, myself and my constituents, we do not want to see LGBTQ plus in its form or shape whatsoever, any form of shape. And we are totally against it. But as a member of Parliament, too, what Parliament has dealt with conclusively, going to start all over again is as if we have no business to do.
Okay, so then if that's the case, if you are saying that Mahama Yariga is an accomplished lawyer, the president isn't, and this is Mahama Yariga's position as the majority leader, why can't the president just assent to the bill?
Yes, so that is where we are now, as to where to go. Is it possible for the president to assent to the bill as he has come to inherit it that way? Is it possible? This is where we are now. And I'm saying that I'm not close with that legal understanding. So as a nation, we must all come to the table and see what we need to do at this point in time. Because mind you, if Parliament is to restart this whole process, at the end of the day, it will come to the presidency anyway. And
so what exactly is your position? Because in one breath, you say the president is not a lawyer. In another breath, Mahama Yariga is an accomplished lawyer.
Yes.
He's majority leader.
Yes.
He says that the bill does not need to be relayed in Parliament.
Yes.
The bill is ripe.
Yes.
It's been passed by Parliament.
Yes.
So the president will have to just... What that means
he did not say the president.
Well, I'm saying what that means is that the president will just have to assent to it. So will we see that happen?
Yeah, so Mahama Yariga was simply saying that, Parliament should not waste its time to go into what it has finished already. And that,
but the president said that he was going to sign this bill.
The president did not
when
mince
he was
words.
in opposition.
He did not mince words. He said it. But I'm saying
waste
that.
Time then.
But
I'm saying it happen anytime soon.
But I'm saying that what the president has inherited from another regime, which even was a subject of legal litigation, right?
Oh, no,
we need to uncloak all the difficulties around it.
Honorable is just mimicking the musical chairs that the NDC is playing with us. That's what you're just mimicking here.
No, that's not it. That's not it. Even the Supreme Court itself, must be invited into it.
To do what?
Yes, because they said they couldn't give interpretation on what was not finished.
But it's not when they said
yes.
That is what it is, because they can only do so when it is an act, when it is a law. At that time, it was not. So what do you need them to come in for?
I have explained that.
It's still not a law.
Because then the presidency had raised. You remember, was it Bediatu Asante who had written as to why the president could not sign?
So they should desist from smuggling the bill
absolutely
to the presidency.
So what exactly do you want to invite the Supreme Court to do this time?
No, so who smuggled... No, my point is that who smuggled that bill to the presidency? When Parliament successfully dealt with a bill, and as it were, our constitutional jurisprudence recommends that that bill should be forwarded to the commander-in-chief, who is the president, for his assent in order that that bill becomes a law. And the secretary to the president then said that it was something that was smuggled into the presidency, something that shouldn't have come to the presidency. You do not expect a new president just not to do his due diligence, on such a thing that has been described by the previous regime. That's the point I'm making. Meanwhile, Parliament is a distinct arm of government. We have finished our job.
You're done?
Yes.
Let's finish his musical chairs.
Okay. Okay. Bernard, you spoke already. You want to add something? Because I want to move on to the final.
Oh, well, I don't think there is. I think President Mahama should sign the bill if what Mahama Yarga is saying is the truth.
Okay.
And then let's move on with it. I think that these things constitute a definition of the proper sexual human values of the people of Ghana. I'm not sure that there is any religion, there's no tribe anywhere that will in any form hobnob with the issue of homosexuality. I have said that homosexuality is an abnormality, and that when people are abnormal in any sense, you have to normalize them. You don't go granting them rights. And we should treat it as that.
All right.
They are sick. We treat them or cure them out of their sickness.
Okay. Well, here's a notice from St. Andrews SHS. St. Andrews group of schools are all part of the free SHS program this year. However, they have new names on the self-placement platform, and there are about 6 of them. 1, St. Andrews SHS in Asimfosu. On the platform is called St. Richard's SHS Asimfosu. 2, St. Andrews SHS in Mankesim is now St. Luke SHS on the platform. St. Andrews SHS Dunkwa-Onofin is now Mount Hebron College Dunkwa-Onofin. 4, St. Andrews SHS Shama is now Golden Gate SHS Shama. 5, St. Andrews SHS New Edubiase is now Lighthouse SHS New Edubiase on the platform. 6, St. Andrews SHS Sefi Asawenso is now St. Benedict's SHS Sefi Asawenso. The public is hereby notified to find the new names on the self-placement list and choose the schools accordingly. Boarding facilities are also available and everything is free. You can call St. Andrews SHS on 0244696911 or 020-789-1004. At Roman Ridge Traditional Chinese Clinic, we provide effective treatment and management of strokes, heart diseases, diabetes, spine, liver, and kidney problems. You can locate them opposite the Indian High Commission, Roman Ridge, Accra. You can call them on 0546 450 672 or 0556 121 863. They work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and from Monday to Friday and Saturday to Sunday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Have you guys heard this latest one from MTN? If you have not, then please listen. For those of you who love MTN Free After One, prepare for the upgraded experience that is MTN Free After One Extra. Now, let me tell you what that extra is all about. With MTN Free After One Extra, you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes that you talk. This means that for every 10 minutes that you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute and you get to talk for 60 minutes straight without interruptions. If you like what you hear, that's not enough. you also get 50 megabytes of data for free after your first call daily. So you see, it's now time to talk extra with all the people that you love. To subscribe to MTN Free after 1 extra today, just dial *550# and follow the prompt. Stay with me. Let me take a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues. This is GH Today. headed in the right direction. But by September, that figure had dropped to 66%. He also added that the proportion of Ghanaians who felt the country was moving in the wrong direction rose from 20% to 23%, while the job approval rating of the government declined from 73% to 67% in September, with disapproval ratings climbing to 22%. He attributed the dip to Ghanaians losing confidence in the government in its handling of national affairs, and said that the dip in public trust could be linked to several factors, including the failure to abolish the COVID-19 levy as promised, 2 consecutive utility tariff increases, inadequate infrastructure delivery, and the government's inability to tackle rising youth unemployment. I'm going to start, because the two of you are NDC MPP, which I expect what you will both say. I'll start with Mr. Mono on this. Do you agree with the minority leader?
Well, he's a fellow Casfodian, and we come from the Hall of True Gentlemen. I will disagree with him on the basis that just 8 or 10 months ago, the very things that he's talking about today, we spoke about, and he condemned us. He told us that we were ill-informed. But the things he's talking about today, the numbers have drastically reversed. 1, inflation has come down. 2, our exchange rate has seen more stability. And a presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Brian Achampong, comes to say that no businessman will vote for a candidate who took the CD from 4 cedis to 17 cedis. And this was under MPP. Today, the CD is not 17 cedis and above. It's actually hovering between 12 and 13 or less. How do you come and say that that situation is worsening? How do you say that inflation that was above 50, and just by the closing hours of 2024, it came to about 26%. Today is almost clenching single digits. How do you say that that is worsening? If your way of thinking is to be used, then this is actually an improvement. I have always thought that we cannot use these economics of averages to determine how well we are doing, how the health of our economy is. And I've said this in many occasions, that look, there is a common Phillips curve that indicates relationship between inflation and unemployment. And that any time inflation is coming down unaccompanied by investments, it means that there is massive unemployment at the other end. So as inflation is coming down, employment is on the rise. And government is a major spender. And when government spends, employment is generated. But we see shrinking in government spendings. There are many uncompleted projects that are in existence that are not getting funding to be able to be pushed. Need I remind you that the Obichebi or Lamte interchange is not completed, and its extension? Need I remind you that all the way from Tema, coming through to what we call the Junction Mall, all the way to Accra Central, that the road is uncompleted and that contractors are no longer at site because they are not getting the funding to do the job? Need I remind you that many, including what I always describe, that it's a national shame that wherever our president will pass through to get to Bole, that place is not a good. Not just dualized, it's in a horrible state. If the president decides to fly even to Tamale, from Damango to Bole is in horrible state. If the president decides to move from Techiman or Kumasi to Bole, it is horrible. If he decides to fly to Wa and to continue, that one there will say bo, 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 bo. So that is a national disgrace. Why is it that these fundings are not provided? And why? When you provide money for the contractors and they start work, many other people will be employed. Equipment will be deployed. Capital will get used, and the capital will start gaining money. And that may trigger inflation a little up. So, yes, it may be. But I'm saying that from the mouth that these statements are coming from, that is where the problem is. Because if you were using inflation as a measure of the health of the economy, then I'm saying that the inflation today and the inflation of your period, you cannot compare. If you are using the exchange rate, you cannot compare. Many other indicators will reveal that probably this time we have better economic indicators that will tell you that the economy is doing well. Let me move down to the many issues of misgovernance. Today, I don't see, and bro, permit me, I was part of the students, law students that were unjustifiably failed.
The 419.
They were failed.
Were you part?
No.
You joined them?
I joined the protest.
Okay.
Because some of them were relatives. And I thought that people's decision to join any profession or to acquire any knowledge, they should be allowed the right to do so. And the restrictions that we put on legal education at the time was a problem. In that protest, Serwaa,
yes,
we moved all the way from the law school. When we got to the Canadian Embassy or High Commission, not knowing that the police were hiding around the VAC officers' immigration there. As soon as they saw all the protesters climb the Sankara or Akwajie interchange, they blocked that part. And went and blocked Afrikiko, preventing us from accessing the presidency just to present a petition. Just to present a petition. What was the intention of the police? Putting people on top of the interchange, throwing hot water pepper spray from one end and at the other end. We should jump from that interchange to our deaths. This happened under Akufo-Addo. Protesters could not get close to the presidency. It was declared a security threat or a security zone. We could not access Bank of Ghana to present a petition to the governor. You were not entering, just get to the frontage. We could not. How many times were protesters not brutalized because we want to walk and just come through the presidency and go? I'm sure you remember 28th to 29th June, when we were beaten mercilessly at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. Today, we don't see. And this is what your boss, and when I say your boss, you say I'm your boss too. Alessandro Befia said when he went to receive the petition, he said that today you can come to the presidency and deliver a petition.
Yeah.
You can come to the presidency and deliver a petition and nothing will happen. The security has the capacity to do so. How was security done? Why were people being brutalized for expressing their constitutional disagreement with government policies and programs? I have been victim. So when I sum up all these things, I fail to agree with Afenyo Markins.
President Kansa.
Well, it's interesting how Bernard started and how he did a U-turn and landed. You know, he agrees later on that economic indicators do not necessarily reflect the economic reality or the conditions of the citizenry. And that's exactly what Honorable Afenyo Markins was saying. You know, I don't remember any MPP functionary post COVID, starting from 2022, when the economy started worsening, coming out to boost with inflationary figures, exchange rate figures and all that, If you are talking about first-term record, then probably the NPP government, the first term, will stand tall. The cedi depreciated by just 25% the entire period of our administration. Even by 2022, 6 years after administration, it was still at 8 cedis per dollar. But we all know what the global shocks and, disruptions in supply chain caused. So that is what Honorable Afenyomakins is saying. So we had issues. We admitted. And those issues were not peculiar to Ghana. Even the Western countries had 4-year record inflationary figures and all that, which they liken to figures obtained during the Great Depression of the 1930s. So you made big promises to the youth of Ghana. President Mahama has only 4 terms, and this year,
4 years.
Sorry, only 4 years, and this year is a quarter of those 4 years. So there's no money in the system, and Bernard alluded to that. They are not paying contractors, they are not spending. They are squeezing liquid from the system just to achieve a positive outlook in our economic indicators. Why shall it credit a country for an economy to show good figures, good indicators, without a corresponding reflection in the lives of the citizenry? So this is the question I'm asking Honorable Atuforsi. They made a lot of promises, towards the 2024 election. They said they were going to run a 24-hour economy to provide 3 shifts on a job for the youth of Ghana. What has happened to that front? It is still at the development stage. Gusitano's office is still developing it. When we promised free SHS as our major flagship project, we implemented it the very first year. So I'm not surprised that their goodwill is declining. And if talking about goodwills, governments usually have goodwills their first term. We had goodwill at astronomical levels during our first term before COVID struck, and we enjoyed it. The indicators were good, we were spending, we were paying contractors, and the economy was good. We were getting all the accolades. But I do not see similar sentiments being expressed on the streets of Ghana. If you take your cameras to Kantamanto or Abuso Kain now and you speak to the traders, they will tell you that sales are record bad. People are not patronizing their goods. Why? Because the government is the #1 spender and the government is not spending. There's no money. So they complain that even though the dollar rate has gone down, and again, what the one managing the fiscal policy and monetary policy, the finance minister and the governor is doing is to pump forex into the economy to manage the city. Over the last few weeks, we've been told about $1.5 million has been pumped. So it's not surprising that it has pushed the dollar down from 12 to 10 cedis. But there's no corresponding reflection in the livelihood of the people. So what exactly are we intending to achieve? Just by focusing on spending, on interventions which will make our economic indicators look good without a corresponding reflection in the lives of the people. So this is the question I'm asking Honorable Atuforsi. They promise the youth so much. Economic transformation agenda.
They are only 9 months.
Yes, that is
office.
why I started.
Will you give them some space?
Yes, I will. But you see, if you promise the youth of Ghana that you are going to train 1 million coders and you have 4 years to do that, what I expect is that by your project milestone, at the end of the first year, you are supposed to train 250,000 out of the 1 million coders. But what do we see? If you look at their budget allocation, 1 million coders, they allocated $100 million. 0 has been released. And we are in October. So there's a likelihood that we won't get even a penny or a peso being allocated for the 1 million coders. So how are you going to train the 1 million coders that you promise the young people of Ghana? So there is a Agric for Economic Transformation project, which is a grand Agric project. Beautiful. We had plenty for food and jobs. We started at the very first year, 2017. What do we see? One of the sub-components of this Agric for Economic Transformation agenda, which was publicized so much, was Ekoko Nkete. And Ekoko Nkete and all these models under the AET, which is Agric for Economic Transformation, has an allocation of 1.5 billion cedis in 2025 budget. Not even a cedi of this amount has been released for the purposes of rolling out the intervention. So how are the youth going to get their day-old checks to do the Ekoko Nkete program? So why won't the goodwill go down? Why won't they be disappointed? Again, we were promised a Women's Development Bank to provide access to credit for the women and the ladies in our country. 51.3 million cedis was allocated for the Women's Development Bank, even though the minimum capital required for setting up a bank far exceeded over 400 million.
Has the money been disbursed?
No, not even the 53 million.
Yes,
to set up the structures. So the youth will be disappointed. So they spoke about big push. The big push is supposed to accelerate our infrastructure project. Again, if you look at the allocation in the budget for the push, it's far below MPP's allocation for infrastructure, even in difficult times, 2023, 2024. So it means it's just sloganeering and branding, you know. And one of my disappointments in the big push program is how important national projects like the dualization of the Kumasi-Accra Road is being politicized. The minister tells us that he is not going to continue with the construction of the bypass of the Kumasi-Accra Road, which is about 70% complete. Some sections are being completed. This week I used it, and the Anyinam lot, you know, the northbound lot is completed. Excellent, Mutrabo. Why don't you complete the others? Averagely, the entire bypass is 70% complete. So you just have to do the remaining 30%, and then all these accidents occurring on the Kumasi-Accra Road will be become a thing of the past. The minister is now telling us that he's going to start a new 6-lane dual carriageway. He's going to use next year to do feasibility studies. By the time they are done with their drawings to start construction, they will be preparing to leave office. You know, so instead of President Mahama focusing on Outer Ring Road and other roads in the Ashanti region, this is the most important road in the country, which links the north to the south. They should focus their attention. They should pay contract. The only contractor this government has paid, the road contractor they've paid, is Maripoma, who works on the Ofanko in Sawam Road. Even that pressure was brought to the government before that release was done. So while they promised the youth a lot of interventions, National Apprenticeship Program, how much did they allocate for that? 300 million. Out of that 300 million, only 21 million was released in the media budget. So how is that going to train as many, vocational skills, give the youth as much vocational skills as possible, so that they can do their own business and then, be able to take after their families too? Same if Jumera, they promised 100 million. Just a small fraction of that has been released. So, Serwaa, the government should focus on the major promises it's made. Top among which is unemployment. I would choose an economy with high employment rate over an economy which has a low exchange rate, with the forex doing well, the currency doing well against forex, and the youth all over not getting any jobs. I'm not sure they've created even 1,000 jobs this year. All what the NDC has sought to do is to replace those who are employed, some of those who are employed by the MPP already, with their people. And there's pressure on them, even within the party. There's pressure on them to create jobs for the youth. I agree with Bernard when he says that they need to spend to open up the economy, to create more jobs for the youth, and also to, spare activities on other value-added services. Because once there is road construction going on, somebody will come by the roadside to sell food, another will sell water, and so on and so forth, and to create a local economy, which will help solve most of the problems we are talking about now.
Okay, I'll give you the final word on this.
Eventually, he agrees with me.
No, I've said that. My conclusion was that
but eventually you agree.
It is better to be comfortable in your pocket than to have comfort in the figures.
You just agree with me.
Is it done?
I because of time, but I remember when the NPP was in power, and the numbers were looking very good. Remember, they used to tout that.
But we were spending too, so
and we told you that it was not reflecting in the bread and butter issues of
we did use that. Over 1 million youth were trained each and every year. We created 2.3 million jobs.
These people are just 9 months in government.
This I don't do.
Why don't you give them time?
This I don't do.
Interventions were launched in the first year. The major interventions.
You wasted the youth by claiming that you were doing a NAPCO. And then pay them monies.
NAPCO was a stopgap measure.
That you chopped the money.
Bernard, as I talk to you now, 35%.
Do you know that each NAPCO person was supposed to be over 100,000 people? They were supposed to be over 100,000 NAPCO beneficiaries.
Yes. Do you know that, Bernard?
Each one of them was supposed to be paid 700 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
At the end, they paid them 669.
half a loaf is better than none. I'm
then
not aware of
I
that.
keep
But
asking.
Serwaa,
I keep asking. I keep asking who took the 1 cedi.
Bernard, I'm not aware
each
of
of the
that.
100.
Bernard,
if you
I'm
take
not aware of
100
that.
cities over
But my
100,000 people,
response to you,
how much do you get?
Bernard, I'm not aware of what you are saying. You may have to.
No, certainly, it is a clever way. It is a clever way.
Of NABCO
if you were in government and you did not know,
is being undercut. That they're being paid 600 instead of 700.
So how many times did I not?
699. We had that's what he said.
How many times have I not repeated this thing on this show?
I'm not aware of that. But
and I'm saying that the 1 cedi looks insignificant.
But you are aware that a lot of NABCO trainees went on.
And up to now, the vice presidential candidate, the vice president of the republic, is still saying that he's not going to push finance ministry to get NABCO people paid.
Time. The government came out. That is why the vice president started apologizing in 2022. The records are there.
All right,
even in opposition, we have apologized.
Let's let the MP speak
end,
so we can
NABCO,
go.
Give us 35,000 permanent jobs out of the 100,000.
When?
As I'm talking to you now,
when
10,000 of them at GRA alone. Ghana,
10,000.
When you get to the airport, those wearing those blue
doing what?
Polo shirts, customs activities on the borders. You go to your border towns in the north and check. So even though there were issues with NABCO, 35% of them were employed permanently.
No. Chief.
Yes, Honorable.
The truth of the matter is that your leader, who is also my leader, is doing your party a lot of disservice with the greatest difference to him. You see, the day we reopened, he made a point that the MPP in Parliament doesn't need numbers. Hey, today you don't need MPs.
No, that they need noise.
You don't need numbers.
He said quality.
No.
Better, and he liked
I was
it
right
too.
there, please.
96.
No, you notice that when you were talking, I just kept quiet.
This one there is a point of
no, but I mean, it's my turn. That was after the fact that
you cannot be Tinubu.
Equatia constituency, which is one of your seats that you've won, we have flipped it back today. Today is one of the seats that is green. And instead of your leader and the party sitting down to say, oh, what is it that is not right with us? And how do we fix it? He's so much interested in the deepening of the approval rating of Mahama and the NDC. Wow. Interesting. He doesn't need power. That is it. Today is so incredibly shocking that he knows how to code for Global Info Analytics. The same institution that you people have condemned. Bola Research Institution. But you see, the reality is that if you want to find a government whose approval rating is nosediving, that government certainly cannot win a by-election with a margin a lot of people least expected. Look at the miracle that happened in Akwetia. From the taxi driver, unlike the kind of thing you people did when you were in power. By elections that you see new roads being constructed, you see water projects being done, all this of roads being done. Can we have a very decent discussion, please? I did not do that to you. You did not see those kind of showmanship in Akwetia. The people voted in a way to say that, look, this government is not made up of angels, but it's a sharp departure from what government should never have been under Akufo-Addo. And today, your leader is talking about Mahama's deepening approval rating. No. I think that Chief Bernard has said it all. Let's move from statistics to the realities of life. A tuber of yam under Akufo-Addo regime, particularly tilting towards 2024, was like a luxury. It was like a jewel. Because of what? The yams were stuck in Dambaek, Mandai, and all other places. But the car that ferries them to Accra, the fuel cost. Today, my constituents moved from Accra to Afajato, Ho, and the rest. And they know how much they pay today. How much they paid under your tenure. And so, it is not what we say here. The evidence of the life they lead is what they will use as basis for judgment. The quality of life. And so you couldn't say that transport fares were better under your tenure than they are today. What is the driving force? the cedi comes to play against the dollar. The fuel costs come to play. Today, inflation is an issue. Inflation has always generally been an issue because, look, if your take-home pay as a teacher is 3,000 cedis, and inflation is that high, it means that a third of your money is almost always gone even before you get to the market. Today, look at inflation. Within 9 months, the job that has been done. So, if we really want to take lesson notes, we will take from Ghanaians who have given us the mandate because we are charting a course and they are watching from behind. But those of you who lost the mantle just 9 months ago, in fact, you were riding on high horses and you lost touch with reality. But look, see, today, about 80% of the common fund that is meant to incentivize development at the rural level, the district level, has been channeled, plowed back. 2 quarters has been sent to every assembly. I'm a member of the local government committee in Parliament. And recently, we sat over the audit committee reports of the various assemblies. I think, for instance, a municipality called Forikrom in Ashanti region, the whole of 2024, they admitted that their common fund was 1 million Ghana cedis. Under Mahama, 2 quarters, they have had in excess of 10 million. 10 million. When they even mention it, we asked it for a second time, are you sure? They say yes. Those monies were not just meant for DCs, coordinating directors to share and eat as we witness under some regime. No. They were pegged, the monies are all pegged to projects. The president says embark on water project with 10 to 15% of the common fund. Make sure every assembly that you do health infrastructure, at least minimum 2. Cheap, clinic, health post, 2 in every district. Waste and sanitation management, spend a percentage of your money. Spend about 20% of the common fund on a 24-hour economy model market. What is the market meant to do? To give decency to our women at the village market level. Those whose industry provide the food we eat. And that is how we are going to incentivize the economy at the base. Once the district level is buzzing with economic activities, you don't have this kind of village, rural, urban city migration issues that we have. Okay? And so today, all the interventions that the government has done, I am not surprised that Ghanaians have said thank you to us in Akwetia. Ghanaians have said thank you to us in Tamale Central. They knew if they walked to Tamale Central, they were going to be embarrassed to the core.
Tamale Central has always been an NDC.
But Akwetia has always also been an NPP.
No, Akwetia has not always been an NPP.
But they won it. They won it in 2024.
It's a swing.
No, it's not a swing.
It's a swing.
It's not a swing. It tilts to them more. It tilts to them more.
Ambassador Baba Jamal.
Yes.
His Excellency.
He is ambassador to Nigeria.
Let's wrap up for me.
Akwetia tilts to them more. So the point we are making is that in a matter of 9 months, look at the road projects that are ongoing and those who have just been commissioned. Okay?
Why are you doing the roads? Share some with me.
For 8 good years, you have told us that you want to build hospitals in every district.
Yeah.
For the 8 years, you have not commissioned a fully functioning hospital in one district. Please, I'm coming. No.
You would have to give me
the
time
records,
to respond to
no.
that.
The records
we completed
please, just hold your fire.
Ashanti region.
Hold your fire.
Give me just 30 seconds.
What do you mean by 60 hospitals, and where are they functioning?
Are you talking about Agenda 111?
Where are they functioning?
A hospital is not a block that you have roofed.
In Akontombra.
No.
Just Google
Where is this list from?
This is from the Ministry of Health.
Are they functioning?
Yes.
Under Agenda 111?
No. You see,
when?
you guys confuse Agenda 111 with a regular hospital. Agenda 111 only came in the second term when COVID gave us indication that we had
I'm talking about Agenda 111.
No,
Look,
why is Agenda 111
the
the only
crux of my submission is on Agenda 111.
Agenda
I am
115 were
talking,
completed.
Please, I'm
Aside
talking about
that,
Agenda
5 were completed.
Mention those five. How do you complete something that is not operational?
And were all completed.
How do you complete something which is not operational? Please, the reality is that for 8 good years, their flagship project of Agenda 111.
Agenda 111 was not their flagship project. For 8 years, Agenda 111 was not their flagship.
The government had
their flagship progress.
The government had 8 years.
They did not deliver.
Agenda 111 only came in because of COVID.
The government had 8 years. Tell me,
not for Agenda 111.
Tell me
Agenda 111 was as a result
tell me their flagship programs in health. For 8 years, tell me their flagship.
We built a record number of hospitals.
No. I'm saying that
we built a record number of hospitals.
Project was Agenda 111.
Which hospitals and where are they?
You couldn't.
So you said you don't have time. But I was going through the list. I said
you read that is
you should know where the hospitals are.
Yes, I mentioned them there in Akontombra, Bukozu.
They are on your phone.
I said Rita, proper hospitals.
What do you call proper
hospitals on his phone?
And who goes there?
He said, Mr. Mona says there are hospitals on your phone.
No, Google it, you have phone. Google Tolon
hospitals on
you see the commissioned pictures of the hospital. You see them. Swami, yes. Just go Vami Swami. They are functioning.
Functioning where?
Swami, where?
Kumasi Swami is in
Kumasi. Who commissioned?
I know.
Who commissioned?
The president, Akufo-Addo.
Which president?
Akufo-Addo.
When? On what day? Give us the day. Just give us the day that it was commissioned. It's a fully functioning hospital.
These are really good hospitals on the phone.
I'll just give it to you. No, Serwaa, you see, because
you see, the reality is
we didn't
it's my time.
make a lot of noise on some of these
He had a lot of time.
Hospitals.
You didn't
yes, I did on my work. Yes,
Serwaa.
but we didn't do much on this 60.
The reality is that he has had enough time and
all right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Unfortunately, I have to go.
Today, Free Senior High School, that was a challenge. They claimed their baby. Today, it is the NDC government in 9 men that has found sustainable source of funding for it.
But did we ever not pay?
But if you give birth to a child and you do not take care of that,
people are crying about payment
give birth to a child and you don't take care of that child.
Akufo-Addo inaugurates 4 district hospitals in Ashanti.
Oh, so it's now 4. Which are those?
No, he didn't say they are all.
So give us the date.
Are we going to listen?
Yes. Give us the date.
Yes.
The hospitals are only on his phone.
I'm asking for a challenge.
The minority leader
to come here again.
The minority leader.
Next week, God will.
The minority leader.
Please.
PNDC. Honorable. Next week we are coming to go through the list.
Please hold on for me. Honorable, don't let me mute your microphone. Next week, God willing, we will have this conversation about these hospitals. Please come with receipts, not with listed hospitals, because I'll come with mine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Bernard Mona is former flag bearer aspirant for the PNC. Frankie Free is honorable.
Choose from. I'm the leader of the PNC. Why
you are the no. I said as.
But you said electoral commissioner didn't allow you to fire.
I would have been president of Ghana. I would have been president of Ghana. All this noise that you are making, I would have signed.
You would have me under you by now.
I would have signed LGBT things and all the things that you are.
Mr. President, rebel.
Frankie Free is the honorable member of parliament for Afadatu South, and Kofi Opusun Kansa is former CEO for the NEIP. Thank you, gentlemen. Stay with me after the break. We'll have a conversation on Cyber Security Awareness Month.
Champion of champions. Champion of champions. Champion of champions. I respond to the name Feinka Gilbert. My name is Abu Sadiq Abdulwahid. My name is Jeremy Dante GHOne. The journey last year wasn't easy, but God saw us through. Ever since we received an invitation to be part of this year's edition of the National Cybersecurity Challenge, Champion of Champions edition, we have been preparing, and one thing is clear, there is no room for complacency. We are prepared, we are ready, and we hope to emerge champion of champions. Saint Peter's Senior High School, the entirety of
You're welcome back to the show. This is GH Today. I am Serwaa Amihere. The month of October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and there are a list of activities to mark this month. Joining me in the studio today is Vivian Doe. She's with the Communications Department at the Cybersecurity Authority, and Jael Bempa. She's with the Child Online Protection Department of the Cybersecurity Authority. Good morning, ladies. You're welcome to the show. So, this year's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, what is your focus?
Okay, so like you rightfully said, the whole month of October is dedicated to awareness creation. We do awareness creation every day on cybersecurity, but in October we intensify it. So for the 2025 NACSAM, as we call it, we are working on the theme building a safe, informed, and accountable digital space. So first of all, our focus is letting citizens be aware of the cyber risks that we face. We are also equipping them to stay informed so that they can detect and prevent cyber crimes. And we also want them to know that they have to have accountability. They need to be accountable for their activities online. So that is the focus for this year's NACSAM. For the Cybersecurity Authority, we work with 4 pillars, which is the children, the public, government, and businesses. And so we work on initiatives that target these focus areas. And so that is what we are doing this year.
Okay. What would you like to add?
Okay, so I think she said everything so far. The whole month of October, as she said earlier, has been solely dedicated to creating awareness on cybersecurity issues in Ghana. Okay. And so we've done a lot of awareness creations from October 1 till date currently.
Okay, you have the National Security Challenge.
National Cybersecurity
National Cybersecurity
yes,
Challenge.
NCC.
NCC. What is it about, Jael?
So, National Cybersecurity Challenge is a flagship initiative of the Cybersecurity Authority. It started in 2022, and the main objective of this challenge is just to build the capacity of senior high school students in cybersecurity, as well as encourage them to take career path in cybersecurity. So the entire competition is targeted at senior high school students.
Who qualifies to participate?
So first and foremost, you must have a cybersecurity club in your school, whereby you create awareness. It's very active, and from there you are selected by the Ghana Education Service. Then you partake in the competition. So it's a nationwide competition across all the 16 regions in Ghana.
Okay, you with the Child Protection Department.
Yes.
What are some of the this may be out of line, but what are some of the challenges that children face in this whole cyberspace that you have identified that you're working on?
Okay, so children actually face a lot of risk online. One of the main risks they face online is sextortion. This is a case whereby an offender uses images to blackmail a victim, and then you're supposed to pay a financial amount, you're supposed to pay cash or for sexual gains. And aside sextortion, we have cyberbullying, we have impersonation, we have online grooming as well. So children actually face a lot of risk. In 2022, the Cybersecurity Authority conducted a survey in senior high schools, and this survey indicates that 64% of the the students we undertook this survey on, they actually are very, very active on the internet.
Right.
And it's surprising to note that all 64% have actually faced a form of online risk online. So this topic is actually really, really alarming, and children are facing a lot of risk on the internet.
Okay. So what do you intend? Because you said that it's to also encourage these students to take career paths in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
But in the aspect of protecting them, how does this challenge help in that course?
Okay, so in protecting the children, when you are selected, you begin training. And with this training, it's not purely technical. We teach you best practices. We teach you how to detect, how to respond. And so as they are learning for the competition, they are also learning the tips and the knowledge that they require to stay safe online. And by establishing these clubs on campuses, it means that it will have triple effects, because what you are learning in the class or as part of the club, you are taking it out to your colleagues and taking it out to your family as well. And aside that, we have within the authority the policy framework. So we have the Child Online Protection Framework, in which we state stakeholders that we can work with and actually how we intend to ensure that children are protected online.
Okay. You know that in recent times, I think in the last 1 month or so, there's been an influx of pornography on the internet. I'm sure that you've seen it. And mostly the victims are university students.
Yeah.
You've seen, has it come to your attention? What is the Cybersecurity Authority doing about all of these things?
Okay, so I will say something briefly on that. When it comes to cybersecurity, we take the stance that awareness creation is everything. For most of the children or young adults, as we like to call them, most people don't like being referred to as children. So as young adults, we tend to have a different view of the internet. For most of these content that do come out, they were done naively, thinking that, oh, it's something intimate. So for CSA, we try to be on the preventive side more by focusing on awareness creation. But however, once the deed has been done, how we come in is to assist to mitigate. That has to do with takedown of these materials and also providing counseling. And if there has to be investigation and finally prosecution, we come in. So when you are faced with these threats, if these happen to you, what do? You contact the Cybersecurity Authority via 292. It's a 24-hour service point of contact.
292?
292, yes.
Okay.
You can call 292, you can text 292. You can go on the website and also report the case. But, I mean, calling is much easier. Just dial 292 and the respondents will be at your disposal to listen to the issue, and then we will start taking steps to help mitigate it. Yes.
Okay.
So I just want to add on that it's
Absolutely.
free.
Okay.
So once you call, you are not deducted, it's free. And as she said earlier, we work 24/7, so you can call any point in time if you face any challenge on the internet.
Okay. Now, finally, because of time, tell us about the challenge, where it's happening, and the schools that are participating this year.
Okay, so the National Cybersecurity Challenge, the Champions Edition, is taking place tomorrow on the 24th of October at the City Conference Center at 9 a.m. We have St. Monica Senior High School, St. Peter Senior High School, and Ola Senior High School battling off for us to find out who would be the ultimate winner in this year's competition. We are calling on all past students to come around and support their school. And we are sure at the end of the day, we'll also create awareness on how to stay safe online.
Okay,
And
you want to add something quickly?
Yes, to add up to it. The competition will be streamed live on our social media handles, so those that can't come in person can join the live stream on Cybersecurity Authority Ghana across social media platforms. And before we go, I would like to extend our appreciation to the EIB network. You've been our sole media partner for NACSAM 2025, and we are so much grateful, and we hope the collaboration continues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies. Jael, she is with the Child Protection Unit of the Cybersecurity Authority, Jael Bempa, and Vivian Doe is with the Communications Department of the Cybersecurity Authority. Thank you, and all the best with the challenge. Stay with me. One more conversation before we go.
Showdown is here. Watch out for the National Cybersecurity Challenge, NCC 2025 Champions Edition. Come watch at St. Monica's SHS, Ola Girls SHS, and St. Peter's SHS collide for the 2025 Champions.
Received the code and then we mixed it and then we gave him the code and he got furious, started insulting me and I insulted him back and ended up. Yeah.
That also reminds me of a friend who called me the other day to tell me how her ex-boyfriend is using the sex videos and the pictures they took to blackmail her.
Wow.
She said the guy said it's either she comes back to him or sends him an amount. So she said of 1,000 Ghana cedis. And after some time, he's demanding for more. So I called my friend Mingo to ask what to do. And she told me it's a social engineering technique called sextortion. So she said it can be solved by reporting to 292 to get to the cybersecurity authority so that they will take down the video and the case will be closed.
Okay. So girls, tell me how you got all this information.
I heard Mingo saying something about it earlier. Let's go and ask her.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Mingo. In our modern world, technology is something we use frequently, yet there are disadvantages to it. This is the fact that we face certain expectations in the cyberspace, such as phishing, propaganda, and social engineering. The National Cybersecurity Challenge is organized by the National Cybersecurity Authorities, where they use senior high school students as a tool to disseminate information about how to keep ourselves safe in the cyberspace to the general public. The maiden edition was launched in 2022 and the second edition in 2023, where Ola Senior High School emerged the champions of the National Cybersecurity Challenge. This year, Ola Senior High School is participating in the competition and the gems are coming once again. As we say in Ola Senior High School, Primus inter pares, best among the rest, best among the equals. Ola ho, Ola ho, Ola Ghana, be cyber safe than sorry.
advocate. You're welcome. So tell us, both of you, about the KKB Breast Cancer Awareness Donation Challenge. What started it?
Okay, so we got inspired by our director. We initially wanted to have a photo shoot about the breast cancer.
Okay.
But then we heard of a woman suffering from breast cancer, and then we wanted to go beyond just the challenge, and then so that we can raise funds and support her.
Okay. So that's the motivation behind it.
Yes.
So you're queen. You're a queen.
Yes.
For
the breast cancer.
The breast cancer. And what about you?
Advocate for the breast.
You're an advocate for the breast. So this one you're donating to, where is she? Have you identified someone yet?
Yes, please.
Yes,
where
please.
is she?
Newtown, Accra, Newtown.
Okay. She has breast cancer.
Yes, please.
And what's the state of her condition?
It's in the final stage.
Okay. But what made you choose her? Because there's so many breast cancer patients.
So her wounds are actually opened and rotten.
Oh.
And then she doesn't have anyone to support her.
Right.
She has no husband
no
and no
kids.
children.
Okay.
She lives alone.
So this money that you're going to donate, how do you intend to raise it?
Okay, we raised it through public voting.
Okay.
Yes.
How?
We contacted people through our social media handles, and then we explained what we wanted to do to them, and then they voted.
Okay, they voted?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It was like a challenge.
Right, what was the challenge about? Tell me. Are you nervous?
A little.
A little. You too, you are
Okay.
nervous. A little. Okay. Take deep breaths. Are you better?
Yes.
Are you better? Okay, so tell me about the challenge.
Okay, it was a competition.
Okay.
Among the KKB models.
So you're part of a modeling agency?
Yes, please.
Okay, so competition for?
To raise the fund.
Okay. So you had like individual targets? Or what was the competition about?
To raise the
funds to help Madam Edith.
Okay. And how much have you been able to raise so far?
I think like 10,000.
Like 10,000. Okay, what are your social media pages in case someone wants to donate?
My TikTok is Mel_Teddy.
You are taking the donations personally? I thought that it was for the KKB.
We have an official number, 054-127-3676.
Okay. Can you repeat the number?
054-127-3676.
So, and what are the social media handles in case someone wants to reach out to you?
On TikTok, kkb.creativeclub, same as Instagram. Yeah.
You're not on Facebook? You're not sure? Okay.
On Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, so Madam Edith is your target. Okay. Now, you are an advocate and you are a brand ambassador. A lot of people do not like to check their breast. They're afraid. What would be your message to them this morning, especially because we're in the Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
To them is that they shouldn't wait for last minute to go and check. They should often check and then
They should check so that they get to know it very fast, because early detection saves lives.
Okay, what is happening on 25th October?
Having street awareness march from KKB Studio B to Kolobu. So anyone who wants to partake or join us can see us there.
Okay, you're having a street awareness
march.
Yes, please. For breast cancer. Yes. Okay, so where's your KKB studio?
It's at Danceman.
Danceman. All right. And you're inviting everybody to join. What time does it start?
In the morning, like 8.
At 8 a.m. You start the walk at 8.
Yes, please.
The march. So from there to where?
Kolobu.
To Kolobu. And then when you get to Kolobu, what do you do? What's the action?
We'll end it from there, then move to Madam Edith's house to donate the items to her.
Okay. Where does Madam Edith live?
Accra, Newtown.
Accra, Newtown. She must be very happy. Have you both seen her?
Yes.
Has she seen, you have? Has she seen a doctor?
No, she only gets dressing for her wounds.
Okay, so you're hoping that this money will go far to support her?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Have you gotten screened yourselves?
Not yet.
Please. For me, I have.
You have. You
Not
haven't. You, the brand ambassador, you haven't been screened. Okay, thank you very much, and I wish you the very best with your project. So will this be like a yearly affair? Or
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
This is your first year?
Yeah.
It will be a yearly affair?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you, Queen Mel. So you're Queen Mel?
Yes, please.
Okay, she's a brand ambassador for KKB Breast Cancer Awareness
and Donation.
And Princess Perby is Breast Cancer Advocate. Thank you, ladies, so much. Before we wrap up, let me quickly do some birthday messages. On GH today and the entire AIB network, we say a super happy birthday to you. And for myself, happy birthday to you now. I totally love and adore you. Happy birthday to you. And all right, that's it. If you're celebrating your birthday and we didn't have it here, happy birthday to you. Or if you know anyone who's celebrating their birthday, happy birthday to them as well. I will see you, God willing, tomorrow, but I'll be back at 11:30 with the midday news. I am Serwaa Amihere. Have a good morning.